Well, I'm not really remembering what we were doing at all. And given that the last time we did any of this, it was not that long ago, that's kind of sad. Okay, I kind of remember. Yeah, so our bounty hunter friends are all busted down by the Federation Bureau of Internal Investigation, and we were off heading to do some courier missions. Oh my. In this base that is most clearly not a secret base for the rebels. Oh, well. Meryl is the only planet in the Federation space to be an open rebellion. Okay, fine. I guess it's not a secret base at all. We're gonna head to the bar. You ask the barmaid to point out the off-duty dockmaster, and she points a stocky fellow enjoying a quiet drink. He looks up as your shadow falls across the table. What can I do for you? He asks politely. You explain your situation, saying that you are directed here to do something useful for the rebellion that doesn't require you to have enormous security clearance. He looks at you and runs his hand through his graying hair. Well, we could use some help getting some foodstuffs onto the planet, he muses. He goes on to explain. The Bureau is trying to starve us out of the Federation, and people's belts are starting to look a little tighter. You willing to become a freight courier? Now, the hilarious thing about this is that if we were so inclined, we could go hire a ridiculously capable freight vessel, go buy some food off of Earth, come here, sell it, and, they wouldn't know anything better. 10 tons of food. Yeah, we could probably got, 1,000 tons of food. Just saying. All right, then, he says, squaring his shoulders. If you could go to Las Vegas in the Vegas system and pick up 10 tons of food and bring it here, it would be much appreciated. Also, why Las Vegas? Anyway, I'll make sure it gets distributed to the right people. When you're on Las Vegas, Jay continues, make sure you get your produce from a guy named Burton. He's willing to sell his food to people he hasn't seen before, so he's your man. Except that we can go buy food from anywhere we want. You thank him sincerely, but he merely eyes you askance, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. He must have read your face because he goes on to say, next time, don't bring everyday business to the bar. I like my time off. You nod your head and start heading to your beloved Duke of Earl 2, leaving Jay to savor the rest of his drink in peace. Well then. That's not too far away. But I guess there is no trade terminal here. Still, we could go buy any quantity of food from any planet, really. Oh well. Oh, what now? Wait, the Fed is angry at us? Wait. Actually, I don't even know if we want to... Oh, that... Afterburner is tough to deal with. As soon as you land, you go looking for this Burton guy. Surprisingly, he's not too hard to find. The Las Vegas marketplace is very well organized, and within a half hour, you're standing in front of the man you want, haggling over the price. The two of you quickly reach an agreement, and you get your 10 tons of food, no questions asked. He even gets one of his men to give you a hand loading the stuff onto your ship. After a casual look around to make sure none of the Federation authorities are paying you any obvious attention, you run through a quick pre-flight checklist before heading off planet. Right then. Go drop this off. Oh, what now? What? Okay, fine. We're just gonna leave. That anaconda thinks it can destroy us. I don't know where it's getting that idea, but well. We'll let it live, I suppose. Oh, what? Okay, yeah, you have clearly bigger problems, but yeah, they actually seem to be fine, so we're gonna leave them alone, I think. As soon as you open the hatch, you are hailed by a smiling Jay walking along the concourse towards you. I take it you got it, he states with a wide grin and a wink. You show him your hold, and he claps you on the shoulder. Come with me to my office, he says, and we'll see what can be done about getting payment in a regular run. We'll leave the unloading to the people who get paid for it. You follow Jay to his spartanly furnished office, and he sits down on a comfortable chair. I take it, he states, that you will be wanting to move your way up the ranks to more exciting missions. When you nod, he grins and claps you on the shoulder again. Good to hear, he says with an approving smile. Of course, we live in times when trust is at a minimum, and if you want to become involved in the more exciting missions, then you'll have to prove yourself worthy by doing plenty of the tedious, lower-risk runs. To get you started, he goes on, I'm going to give you these food drops as a regular occurrence, and each one you do will go a little way to proving yourself to the Rebel High Mucky Mucks. Muck Mucks? No, it's Mucky Mucks. Oh well. You nod in understanding. In the meantime, here's 15,000 credits to play with. Yeesh. Yeesh. He hands over a credit chip. Have a few drinks on me. 15,000 credits. Although I suppose if they're assuming, or if they're indicating that 15,000 credits is enough for a few drinks, perhaps that isn't so far off. Maybe I've been underestimating how useful being able to change direction quickly in a fight is. That afterburner is really coming in useful. It's too bad this game just has disappeared off the face of the planet. Like, Atmos is gone, Ambrosia is gone. It's sad. From what I understand, Atmos only wrote the setting for this game, which is the third in the series of Escape Velocity games. It's also the only one that has graphics that are palatable, I think. Although there are, to be fair... Ooh, yeah, we'll take that. There are some... There are some, what am I saying? Total conversions, which turn this game into the previous games, which is pretty good. I've thought about playing through them, but I don't know. I mean, playing through them as we are doing now. Is this right? Greenwich. That is correct. Oh, turn that off. No one in the bar. So now that we've confirmed to the Rebel storyline, we don't have to worry too much about hitting other flags, which is nice, which means we can drop by pretty much anywhere in the bar and accept really any mission, which is nice. Whoa, that's different. As you pilot your way down, you see a paradise of a world with vast sweeping oceans, archipelagos, mountain ranges, and vast forests. According to your sensors, the atmosphere is capable of indefinitely supporting humans, but is a little on the thin side. For the first time, you see David and his team without any breath masks or other apparatus come over to begin the unloading. The experiment with the atmosphere purifier has worked, even better than we expected it to, David explains as you unload what appear to be industrial fabrication machinery. So now we're going to start manufacturing the necessary equipment right here. Within a few months, this planet will be ready to be colonized. Keep an eye out, and I'll make sure you get one of the first loads so that you can see the finished product. Ooh. UHP 1002. With the efforts of David Rengel and his team of Transformers, UHP 1002 has been transformed into a paradise planet with sweeping oceans surrounding a few major continents with sprawling archipelagos. It has vast mountain ranges and is covered by an enormous untouched forests. While the atmosphere is still a little thin and you find yourself gasping for air without much exertion, it is a joy to be able to run around without having to use any environmental gear on this pristine world. Why do I get the horrible, horrible feeling that something will go terribly wrong? Oh, well, I guess we're not going there then. Come Come on, Glytech, I want some more missions. I like to think that he hasn't been in contact with anybody off of his planet, so if we go through and do the Rebel storyline, he'll just be surprised that, you know, oh, that guy that keeps bringing us supplies, oh, he's integral to the rebellion. I guess that's sort of a, spoiler. I mean, we're the main character, so of course we're going to be integral. So how far is this? Outcast in the Aral system. Okay. Outcast. Okay, so we can get down there without too much trouble, I think. Yeah, I think you have to bounce around a little bit, but that shouldn't be too awful. It's March 10th. I guess that's doable. I'm kind of interested in doing something that will take a bit of time. Oops. Helps we go the right way. Just so we can see if we can get that last bit of terraforming done. Then we'll start in on earnest in the Rebellion storyline. Although I suppose we could just do the Rebellion storyline. I think we've done the Glytech storyline before, so... The only real thing that we're getting out of this is the... terraforming storyline. Which I've not done before. Ah, Heron. Let me complain once again about the nonsensical layout of Auroran jump points. Why? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Abandoned station. Let's hope this is correct. I'm hoping... Yeah, I'm really hoping this is correct. I should have bought a map. What day is it? It is April 2nd. So we have about a month. Month and a half? Yeah, month and a half. Shouldn't be too bad as long as we don't make too many more mistakes. Oh, good. Of course. Guess we're waiting around here as well. Waiting around in the depths of space, nothing but an abomination. And soon nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Yep. Yep. All alone in a place in the middle of nowhere, just waiting for our engines to recharge. Yep. Yeah, wait until one of those guys tries to attack us for some reason. Isn't that the coolest ship? That's the coolest ship. I want one. Unfortunately, that means we have to be part of the Auroran storyline, and I didn't particularly like the Auroran storyline. Nothing against the Auroran storyline, just, you know, wasn't my thing. I'm not really a warrior kind of guy. Much more of a Polaris kind of guy. You leave the ship... Oh, yeah, it's boring. Oh, yeah. Those are fun. They don't pay any much more. That's what I'm talking about. Everything just relies on you being, look how many jumps that was. And none of those had alternates except for Haran Lakora, which means that this is the only way to get here. That's ridiculous. Okay. So it is April 6th. We have a month and a half. We're fine. Well, a month and 10 days. Hopefully, this will be enough to get us that next terraforming mission. I want to say that there are indeed flags which require a certain amount of time to pass during this game. I just don't know. Hey. Yeah, we're not quite ready to take that guy on. 200,000 credits, just like that. It's pretty nice. Sigma Shipyards. Nothing yet. If we don't get anything this visit to Glytech, we're just going to go for the Rebellion storyline. Which, having said that, means that we will get the Glytech missions. No, it's Glytech, I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe we do need to take these Glytech missions for them to start trusting us. I don't know. I don't really think that's the case because I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of time. Oh well. Sadly, didn't get anything. Oh, and I did notice that we no longer have bounty hunter missions. For some reason, I thought that the bounty hunter missions continued after you got shunted over to the Rebellion storyline, but really, you don't get any bounty hunter missions. That's just crazy. Hey, that looks like a trap. Let's go try it. Or not, or not. Oh, hey, ouch. That's not very nice of you. Too many. I don't want to get any bit closer. I don't think we got credit for that, but I think that's okay too. Stop. Come back. Well, fine. I guess we'll accept your mission. Why are there two? Oh, that's right. Wait, no? Oh, right. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm just an idiot. I thought we'd forgotten the second half of our 200,000 credit run for a second there. But no, those are just the pilots that we picked up. You know, in the end, that the access to the hypergate system isn't as useful as I remember it being. I suppose it's useful if you need to get around in no time. Like it'll cut down on your Colan. It'll cut down on the travel time, so it's useful in that way. But it's not particularly useful otherwise. Yeah, so this system isn't part of the Rebellion, so I don't think our rating with the Rebellion can be tied to it. Although, I guess it could. Well, hey, there we go. One food run, that's all we had to do, of our own accord. Captain Lepsis Magna, you hear yelled from the back of the bar in greeting as you enter. Over here! You turn towards the voice and see Jay the dockmaster sitting enjoying a drink. He kicks out a chair at his table and indicates that you should join him with a grin. I've been told to move you up the chain, he begins smiling, but don't get carried away. It's only a small step up from food drops to equipment drops. What it means is that some of the head sheds have noticed you. Head sheds. I've never heard that before. If you keep this up, before long, you will be up there with the best of them. Jay leans forward, resting his heavily muscled arms on the table as he asks more seriously. That is, if you're still interested? Well, it's all pretty simple, really. Jay continues expansively. No different to what you're doing now, except the Bureau now reckons what you will do smuggling is worse than what you were smuggling before. All we have to do is get you to the men in the Leston system and get 10 tons of equipment and bring it back here. The man to go see about getting this stuff is no questions asked. Is a guy named Arpad. He knows his work and is very competent. He'll make sure you're looked after. Well, I do like that it's closer. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but the Rebellion has Polaris ships. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I don't really care. As soon as you land, you go looking for this Arpad guy. He is a lot harder to find than Burton was on Las Vegas, as the men in Marketplace is not nearly as well organized. However, after just over an hour of searching, you're standing in front of the man you want, haggling over the price. The two of you are quickly reaching an agreement, and you get your 15 tons of equipment, no questions asked. He even gets a couple of his men to help give you a hand loading the stuff onto your ship. After a casual look around to ensure none of the Federation authorities are paying you any obvious attention, you run through a quick pre-flight checklist before heading off planet. Yeah, none of this is particularly interesting. Oh yeah, Rebel 1 in the Evely system. That's the... Yeah, they were just straight up asking for us to take them there. Anyway, not a very... Hey. Not a very hidden base, I would say. Wow, people really don't like us. Yeah. My goodness. I'm assuming that was a pirate. I wasn't really paying attention. This is a dangerous system. As soon as you open the hatch, you are hailed by smiling Jay walking along the concourse towards you. I take it you got what we wanted, he states with a grin and a wink. You bring him aboard and show him your holds, and he claps you on the shoulder. Excellent work, he says. Come with me to my office, and we'll see what can be done about payment and another regular run. There are enough people around who get paid to do the unloading, so why don't we leave them to it? Once again, you follow Jay into his spartanly furnished office, and he sits you down in the same comfortable chair. Not the comfy chair. It looks to me, he says with a mischievous grin, as though the people in charge of this are starting to look your way. He claps you on the shoulder again. Well, you're on the way, he says with an approving smile. Of course, it will take some time, and things won't happen overnight, but I think you should have begun your long journey to the top. Keep putting in the hard yards, and you should get there. To help you out, he goes on, I'm going to clear you to receive these equipment drops from the mission BBS so that you can clock up some more brownie points. You nod, understanding that your willingness to do this sort of grunt work will go a long way towards impressing the people in charge of your loyalty. In the meantime, here's a whopping 25,000 credits. My goodness, 25,000 credits. He hands over a credit chip. Have a few drinks on me. I'm pretty sure the Bounty Hunter storyline was giving us 10 times that for not a whole lot different. Excellent. I didn't really want to do any more of those. You see, I am certain that when I played this on Mac, like, there was a time limit. Like, you had to wait a certain amount of time before you could just pick these messages up again. I don't remember. It just feels like you couldn't go from one stage to another so quickly as I recall. I don't know. Maybe it's because I got better at the game and everyone likes me or something. You see a waving hand as you step into the bar. You recognize Jay sitting in his normal place. You sit down and he grins at you. If you were going to start betraying the rebellion, he says in jest, now would be the time you could start. You look at him, wondering exactly what he meant by that. Now, we have been in a situation much like this before, haven't we? The Headsheds have decided to move you up a little further, he continues quietly. They want you to go in and pick up a rebel informant who believes that she has been compromised. Are you in, or do you need a little more time to prepare? In reality, this mission is fairly simple, Jay continues quietly. Not too different from the cargo missions you've been doing, except you will be picking up a passenger rather than freight. The lady in question, whose name is Anna, lives on Goliath in the South Manchester system, he tells you seriously. Make sure you aren't spotted on the way out, as the Bureau would really like it if they stumbled onto a rebel extraction. Jay leans forward to emphasize his next point. The rebellion prides itself on looking after its people when it can. You are now an integral part of that idea. Our leaders have made a vow to extract any agent in trouble if it is possible without further compromising security. It is one of those things that allows the rebellion to employ so many people. Otherwise, many would simply not pluck up the courage to join, and we would be struggling even more than we are. I leave it in your capable hands, he leans back confidently. Good luck, Captain Lepsis Magna. Goliath. Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about them stumbling upon a rebel extraction. Just saying. I think they know. You land and go through your normal post-flight checklist as usual. When you are finished, you head outside to stretch your legs and await the arrival of this passenger. You do not have to wait long. Within 10 minutes, a plump-looking middle-aged matron walks up and introduces herself as Anna. The ability of the rebels to spread information throughout the galaxy must be very good if she was able to be here almost as you landed. You take her inside and show her around before heading back to your cockpit to begin heading back out into open space. As I said, I don't think we need to worry about them stumbling upon a, yeah, pretty sure they know. Pretty sure they know. Well, I'm glad we're no longer in a, shuttlecraft. You know, I said this was a mid-tier ship, but it might actually be good enough for the end of the game. Ah, well, we'll find out. You'll notice that I don't remember if I was saying this, but and I already said it, that they have Polaris ships. Over the course of your journey, you learn that Anna is really only an informant. She only relays information regarding Federation and Bureau activities on to other members of her cell network. You are a little impressed the way the rebels have set up their informants. If any one person was turned, they could never only incriminate a maximum of 3 others, and even then, unless they acted within 2 days, they could not even do that. Anna thanks you for helping her out, and as she leaves and you watch her walking away. You realize that you never did find out the story behind her removal, but then you doubt she would have told you. She didn't really seem like the blabbing type. You look over to see the muscular figure of Jay walking towards you. You did good out there, he states. Come to my office. I have someone I want you to meet. You walk in to see a vaguely familiar figure with short hair and a military bearing. Allow me to introduce myself, the man says easily, reaching forward to shake your hand. My name is Cade Smart, retired general. You realize that you were talking to one of the founding members of the rebellion. You remember vaguely that General Cade Sundown Smart, as he was called, took command of the Federation forces when the Aurorans had wiped out whole fleets of the Federation Navy under the incompetent command of his predecessor. His brilliance kept the Federation alive at a time when its destruction looked as virtual certainty. I want you to know that we have been following your career carefully, General Smart continues, and I wanted to pass on my appreciation for what you are doing. We are truly grateful for your efforts. Jay tells me that he's going to make similar missions available to you through the mission BBS, and I can think of no one better for the job. Thank you, Captain Lefsis Magna. Well, we don't really want to do that. Okay, fine, I guess we have to. There's no one in the bar or here, so we're just going to take off and... Hey, excellent! Ha ha ha! You see a waving hand as you step into the bar and recognize Jay sitting in his normal place with a slightly young, slightly overweight woman next to him. You sit down and he grins at you. The guys at HQ want to move you up another link in the chain, he says in earnest. It looks like you're on your way. He gives you a wink. Realistically, though, he continues sardonically, your next step isn't any different from your last, but think of it as another rung past to make it to the top. Are you in, or do you need a little more time to settle yourself in? We're now talking about insertion missions, Jay continues quietly, where you take an agent from here and plant them wherever they need to go to start their new lives as informants. Allow me to introduce Fiona, he indicates the woman next to him. She needs to get to New England in the Wolf 359 system. The usual deal applies in keeping away from the Federation and the Bureau. Good luck to the both of you. I wonder if that's as dangerous as they realize it is. It probably is. They're pretty smart people. Since if you recall from our previous playthroughs, Wolf 359 is the headquarters of the Bureau. We're just gonna slide in here, hope no one really cares. I mean, clearly they already know. Fiona thanks you for giving her a lift as she leaves and you watch her walking away. You realize that, in all likelihood, you will never see her again. You will never know her story. Why did she join the rebels? Why is she willing to risk her life and mental health for something as ephemeral as an ideal? Her retreating back seems a fitting metaphor for the way this war is being carried out. Feeling a strange sense of sadness, you head back up into your cockpit. Yeah, none of this is... Ooh. Hard to argue with 500,000 credits, you know? It's just hard to argue. Wait, is that the right place? That's not the right place. Where are we going? Oh, no. That's a problem. Well, we're going to hope we can find our way out. Why are there so many people angry with us? Oh, well. It's fine. Okay, so let's hope we can get there. I hope we can get there. Oh no, not this again. I think we want to back up. I don't think we want to go this way. I might be wrong, but I don't want to risk it. This was foolish. This was foolish. There's no way to get there. I have no idea how to get to that system. No, no. Okay, so it's August 19th. We need to be done by October 6th. So it might be worthwhile to land and buy a map. I think we have to. There's just no other way for it. This place isn't going to have an outfitter, is it? Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, it's a listening post. We're never going to... Oh boy. We're never going to pick up any outfits from here. That's the problem. Oh my goodness. Why is this so difficult? Oh, it's another listening post. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Just let us out. The real threat is not being able to find a path out. This is the problem. Firmia in the Arcturus system. Arcturus. Okay, so we can get out of here pretty quickly, I think. We just have to figure out how to get there. What day is it? August 25th? Oh boy, so we have about a month. We may fail this mission. Okay, we gotta land. We have no other choice. Bolshevik. Okay. Oh, well, that's good to know. So, we took a few jumps out of the way. We should be fine. Should be fine. Okay, 500,000 credits is on the line. Yeah, who designed this? What is this? What is that flight path? Look at that flight path. It's ridiculous. Okay. We should be able to get out of Auroran space pretty easily. I don't anticipate even worrying about getting scanned, really. Most of these systems are uninhabited. Is it worth it for 500,000 credits? I don't know. I don't know. We're not even back into Federation space yet. This is ridiculous. Well, we're cutting it a little close. We need 2 more jumps. It's probably worth landing, because it's only September 25th. We should have used the Hypergate system. Oh well. 1 jump. 1 more jump. And we need to go to Firmia. $500,000 credits. It's hard to argue with. Just every time with the... Always with the fighting. So I suppose the question is, do we want to... There are always pirates in the system. Do we want to upgrade our ship after the Starbridge? Like, our Starbridge is pretty good. I don't know. You look over to see the muscular figure of Jay walking towards you. All go well, he asks cheerfully. You nod and he continues expansively. Let's go to my office. I have a credit chip with your name on it. The two of you head off off the concourse to the building where his office is located, whereupon he goes through the familiar ritual of rummaging through his desk drawers. Here it is, he says, at last pulling the chip. This should keep you eating for a few more days. I'll see to it that the headsheds hear about this, he promises with a grin. It's always good to see a decent man get ahead in this sad universe of ours. Let's try this again. Hey, excellent. Well, if it isn't Mr. Big Shot, comes the most cheerful call as you walk into the bar. You look over to see Jay laughing at you and motioning you over to his usual seat. It seems that the people upstairs want a piece of you, he says cheerfully as you sit down. They want me to officially ask if you want a reassignment from grunt work to intel. Apparently the guy in charge of our spook work, Frandl, is a little impressed with you and requested you personally. The name Frandl bothers your memory somehow, and you ask Jay about it. Don't ask, he says, rolling his eyes. The guy used to be the head of the now-defunct Federation Intelligence. It's only a code name. I don't think that anyone, not even the other rebel leaders, know his real name. But don't change the subject on me, he wags his finger in mock anger. Are you interested, or do you need a little more time? I'm interested. I don't know what they want you to do, Jay continues seriously. I've been told that you have to report to Rebel 2 in the Korea system, and that's it. He leans forward on his enormous arms. Just be careful with the spooks, Jay says carefully. I'm sure they all have the best of intentions, but I get the feeling that the longer a person spends manipulating other people and learning to live several different lives, the more it warps their perceptions. I don't think there's a spook out there that doesn't go a bit weird after a while. And look out for that Frandl guy. He'll come across as a decent sort of bloke, but I've never met anyone who is more willing to sacrifice anything to achieve his aims. To him, we are all pawns to be moved about in an enormous chess game. None of that matters as long as he wins. But good luck anyway, he thumps you on the arm. It'll sure beat the hell out of the carting freight around. Well, that was a nice little excursion. Goodbye, Jay. Now we don't have to come back to this system, which is in constant war. I gotta say, though, that system always has something going on in it. Like, I've never been there and not have things going on. It and Seoul are really good systems. Who's shooting at me? You were greeted by General Smart and a rather nondescript man, just short of 6 feet, slim build and a slightly hooked nose. Welcome to Intel, states General Smart as he shakes your hand. He indicates the man sitting next to him. Allow me to introduce Jeff Daniels. He'll be your Intel supervisor. The two of you shake hands, eyeing each other curiously. I've heard good things about you, Jeff says positively. It's nice to finally meet you. Why don't you have a look around the station and meet me in the bar in an hour or so? I need the time to come up with your code name and to hammer out the details of your first mission. You had all the time while we were coming here. We have also cleared you to purchase many of our ships, such as they are, but of course you can keep your current ship if you wish. General Smart leans over and announces in conspiratorial whisper loud enough for Daniels to hear. Watch out for these spooks. They think they run the universe. Jeff Daniels just smiles gently. But we do, General. Didn't you know? I do like that. So, now we got some actually interesting ships. Well, okay, we got the Rebel Starbridge. Wait, 325,000 credits? Seriously? Wow. 5 and 2, 20 and 20. So that's comparable to what we have now. I mean, it is technically better. Is it worth going through all of this? And we're gonna lose, and we'd lose our Polaron cannon, which is a bit frustrating. So we'd lose our Polaron cannon. Actually, that's an interesting question, because this item mass is 25 tons, which indicates that this is less, because maybe it's a remaining space of 20 tons, because this has 3 medium blasters, a light blaster turret, 2 gravimetric missile launchers, and 15 ammo, because there's no way you'd have 3 medium blasters. Oh, medium blasters, not medium blaster turrets. Medium blaster is 8 tons, so 3 times 8 is 24. Yeah, so still it's 20 tons left. I think it would be... Okay, so acceleration rate 377, max speed 498. 377, 498. 377... that's frustrating. That's frustrating. Let's see here. 498. Wait a minute. 498 is the max speed. Okay, so we're actually faster. Okay, so that's good to know. 1.5 million credits. That's incredible. That's crazy. Wait, it says our ship trade-in value is 1.5 million credits here, and then it says trade-in value is 386,000 credits over here. That's kind of weird. Ah, yes. Knight of the Red Branch, United Shipping Courier, member of the Guild of Bounty Hunters, and have access to the Hypergate system. Yeah. Yeah, it always says 386,000. Of course, none of these ships cost more than 386,000, so hard to say. This is much cheaper. This is much cheaper. 300,000 credits instead of 400,000 on Earth? Ah, well. There you are, says Jeff when you enter. What do you think of our humble station? You mumble something non-committal. That's what I like to see, he laughs good-naturedly. A man who keeps his cards close to the chest. You'll do fine working with us in Intel. By the way, you have been assigned the codename Oirihara. Don't worry about it meaning anything. The computer just spits them out randomly. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. From now on, everyone around here will call you by that name to protect your true identity. Also, now that we have you on our books, you will have a small pittance of a salary paid into your account, and you will get a slight discount on all Rebel ports. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. I suppose you want to know about the mission, he asks, smiling. Well, it is a mission to go and meet the Polaris. Oh, really? Do you think you can handle it, or do you need some time to prepare? It is, after all, a very long journey through pretty hazardous space. I'll be okay. Excellent, Jeff exclaims. We needed someone with the ability to handle themselves in a tight situation, he continues earnestly, as well as being completely trustworthy. You would be surprised how small that list actually is, especially when you factor in availability and the conspicuous nature of most of our ships. You came out near the top in all of our lists, and you were the only person to do so in every category. The Polaris have gotten a message to us asking us to send someone to them. They were pretty vague on what the meeting was actually going to be about, but we cannot afford to let slip any chance at getting another technological edge over the Bureau. When we got the Dragons, they were a godsend. Even if it was only to foster better relations with them, we cannot afford to go a little out of our way. We cannot afford not to go a little out of our way to accommodate them. So we want you to go to KLRE in the KLRE system, he concludes decisively, to find out what the Polaris want. Well, we were there not long ago. Also, I don't actually remember if this is part of the footage that I lost, which I feel a little bad about. But if you recall, Oirihara is the name of the guy that was supposed to do crazy stuff for the Polaris in the Polaris playthrough. Okay, we can do not steal our kill. Okay, good. What? What? Stop that. No, that's something else entirely. Always with the... Okay, so the problem is... Yeah, the problem is they can hit us with the, yeah. So we could go for a Rebel Destroyer. I don't know. The Destroyers interest me, but they're not amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure they're pretty slow. Plus, I don't know. It's probably worth it. I don't know how much they cost. That's the problem. That's the other problem. Especially if we don't get our full 1.5 million trade-in value. I mean, just those 2 upgrades on Sigma shipyards cost 2 million credits. I forgot about the Sigma shipyards plotline. It really is useful to get them because of the hypergates and all the ships you get out of it. Well, I guess we'll land here. No reason not to. I don't know why, but they seem to be more okay with us now. I'm okay with that, just to be clear. Man, I really do feel bad that we lost the second half of the Polaris playthrough. Look at all those ships. Look at all those ships. After your long journey, you are only too happy to be landing, even if it is on a strange world. You are looking forward to stretching your legs, if nothing else. You open your hatch to see a black-robed young woman standing at the end of the ramp. Greetings, Oirihara, she greets you. I'm Miranda of the Mohare. You know, we met her not too long ago, and I mean that in this playthrough because, like, she asked us if we could take her to Polaris, but we declined. I've been chosen as a representative of our ruling council to meet with your leaders. Your confusion lasts only but a moment, until you realize that Obviously, the Polaris contacted the rebellion about arranging the meeting. You quickly explain that your leaders will be unprepared to greet her as they were uncertain to the nature of this mission. Of course, she says, that was our intention. We have no wish to see the rebellion as you wished it to be seen. We wish to see it in its everyday mode. How else are we going to make a decision about supporting it? You sigh and get ready for a long trip back. Oh yeah. Well, it's not that long of a trip back. It's pretty far. Okay, it is pretty far. We should be fine, though. Should we try upgrading to a destroyer? The destroyer does look cool, but the Star Bridge is pretty awesome. It is too bad. I think this is a feature of Endless Sky, which I think I've mentioned is sort of a fan reimagining of Escape Velocity, or of the Escape Velocity series. Open source and everything. In that game, I believe you can just buy a second ship and have it be your second ship, whereas in this game, if you buy a ship, your first ship is just gone. It makes sense, I suppose. Does make me want to, does make me want to figure out how to port Escape Velocity to... Oh, no. Oh, no, we can take him. That is a lot of missiles. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. That guy was far more dangerous than I anticipated. I wonder what the Polaris ambassador thinks about this. Also, again, are we on our last hit? I thought we had a little more... Wow, we are... Well then. We are 2 jumps away. Oh. Oh no. No, okay. Cool, cool. Oh yeah, what's our, so we get 900 credits a day. So before we were getting 750, so, oh no. Oh no. This is problematic. He's not going to board us, is he? Okay, we're going to beg for mercy. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Just sitting here bleeding money, I guess. If we weren't on a important mission, I would be thinking about reloading a save right around now. And I really shouldn't have... Oh, come on. Yeah. Ugh. Please? How is it that we got stuck in the one system that has nothing but marauders and free traders and association and pirates? Oh, yes, please. What do you mean you're busy? Oh, no. You do understand that we're on a mission... Oh, dear. They'll probably survive. You say that, but... You have other business. We're transporting an ambassador here. Okay. It looks like he's fighting the other ship there. Okay. You're not busy. Oh, no. Please. Please. Stop. Okay. There we go. So once he dealt with all the pirates, he's coming to aid us. I guess I can't begrudge him that. Oh no, don't get into a fight with the feds. Oh no. Oh no, not now. No. So who's going to win? I mean, I'm betting on the Fed Destroyer. So you say, so you say. Oh, no. No, come back. Yeah. No, fine. Listen, pay you a lot of money. I'll pay you a lot of money. Okay, so we've lost 100,000 credits so far. You would think that at some point our crew would be able to repair things. Really, we're just at the mercy of the random number generator, making sure that the next ship that jumps in is Federation. No, of course not. Yeah, I figured. Listen. $120,000. You know, I was going to be all nice about this. Okay, seriously? You know, we can keep paying these people off, but until one of them comes and helps us. I can't believe the one time we had a rebel ship in here, they got into a scramble with the Federation ship, and then they just sort of left. He's coming this way. I don't know why he's coming this way. Okay. Oh no, come on. Oh, come on. Survive, Rebel Thunderhead. I believe in... Oh, no. There's no way he can survive. No. He's going to go after that other guy, isn't he? Yeah, there he goes. Oh, no. Yeah, that's basically what I figured. Okay, that's enough of that. I would be willing to sit there for a very long time. However, it's getting a little boring. So let's try this again. Oh, no. Okay, fine. So, I suppose that means we should probably stop in Altair to fuel up. No, because we were fine. It was just a matter of, I mean, we should still stop and... No, it's 10 jumps, so we should be fine. But we just stopped to fight that one guy, and we shouldn't have stopped to fight that one guy. Can't believe I did that. Oh, boy. Oh, maybe we won't make it there. Well, too late now. Oh, this system, man. This system is not a pleasant system to be in. Well, now we wait, but for a completely different reason. We will wait until we get 2 jumps of fuel, at which point we will be fine. Oh, actually, could we hail this guy? Nope, okay, we can't. I mean, we could, but... Oh, why did I use my... Oh, that was stupid. Yeah, there's no reason to be nearby any of these ships. We should just be out in the middle of nowhere, letting our fuel recharge. Every time I do something different, bad things happen. Wow, a free trader, a marauder, and a pirate. We just need an association ship, and then we'll be done. So yeah, this is free trader, marauder, and pirate. They're fighting each other. Interesting. So the free trader is fighting the marauder. So maybe the free traders aren't bad guys. I always say this, but the Marauders just try to shoot everybody. So I don't think that actually means anything. How is he still alive? Wait, did he... That Marauder took down a... Oh. Oh. That Marauder took down a Valkyrie. That's ridiculous. Wait. Where did you come from? Interesting. Interesting. Don't know where you came from. Oh well. We're almost there. We can almost leave. There we go. Now we can leave. Ah, okay. So just, you know, not being greedy. On the express orders of your passenger Miranda, you make no contact with the rebels until you begin the docking sequence. You radio out that you have a representative of the Polaris government on board wanting to meet with the leaders of the rebellion. After you finish relaying the information, you sit back with a smile. What are you smiling at? Inquires your passenger politely. You reply that you're just thinking about the mad chaos that would be resulting from the message you just sent. You chuckle at the thought of the rebel officers running around, trying to get as many headsheds together. What is headsheds? As possible given the time frame. As soon as you finish your post-flight checklist, you lead your passenger out into the waiting station. You are surprised to be greeted by 5 of the 6 founding members of the rebellion. One by one, Miranda is introduced to General Smart, Cardinal Vardi de Valera, former head of the Theological Studies of the Church of the Crimha, Professor Barry Williams, former Vice-Chancellor of Kane University, Mr. Donald Chick, former CEO of Sigma Shipyards, and Dr. Oriolo Pentecost, former Kane representative to the Federation Council. The only one missing is the mysterious Frandal, but then, according to rumor, he's not been seen in public for several years now. Miranda is led away by General Smart, and you are left standing, not knowing what to do until you see Jeff Daniels coming over. You know, Jeff Daniels seems awfully suspicious to me. I wouldn't be surprised if he's Randall. Quite a show of rank, wouldn't you say? He says with an indolent grin. You nod, looking a little confused. We had an inkling that this might happen, he explains, so we prepared ahead of time. Regardless, she'll need transport back soon, and that'll be you. Stay near the bar. I might need you in a hurry. It is some time later, as you are sitting quietly waiting for news to reach you regarding your visitor, when a sudden drop and a surge in the conversation near the door draws your attention. You look up to see Jeff leading Miranda towards you. Howdy, greets you casually? Well, the historic meeting is ended, and you're stuck with being the chauffeur again. Seriously, though, he continues gravely, as I understand it, the Polaris are considering giving us a new type of scanning technology that will allow us to detect high-level holo transmissions without carting around several hundred tons of equipment. So what we want you to do is take Miranda here back to Kelari in the Kelari system, and wait there for final word on whether they are willing to allow us to use this technology. If they do, while you're in Polaris space, pick it up and return here. In essence, your supervisor is correct, states Miranda, but we do not want the Federation at this stage to know that we are being involved ourselves, even peripherally, in your struggle. So do try to avoid being scanned by them. I doubt the ruling council will decide to allow the rebels the use of the holo scanning technology if you fail, but regardless, I need to get back to Kelari in the Kelari system. Once we arrive, I will go to advise the council on what has happened, and I will meet you in the bar there to inform you of the council's decision one way or the other. So even if we are detected by Federation vessels, if you could proceed to Kelari and await me in the bar for the final word, that would be much appreciated. I mean, it's not like we're going to be hitting much of Federation space. It's Altair and Kania, and after that we're out. On our way to Polaris space. Okay. Well, off we go then. Oh, you know what? I should have taken the... Yeah, I should have taken the Hypergate, because I think the Hypergate will actually take us into Polaris space. I think to Polaris. Oh, maybe not. There's nothing in Polaris. Never mind. We should be safe now that we're in Polaris space. Hopefully, yes, there is a place to land here. Ooh, yeah, I forgot about this place. Yeah. They discovered the ring world? Interesting. Ha. Yeah. Ring worlds, man, ring worlds. They're pretty cool. Someday. Thank you, Orihara, says the delighted Miranda. Your help has been much appreciated in this manner. Very few non-Nil Camoria, that is the Polaris name for our warrior caste, pilots would even have attempted the journey you did. And to get past all those... Wait, what? To get past all those Federation vessels undetected was masterful. You have earned not only my respect, but when the people hear of your deeds, they will have earned you will have earned theirs also. Were you aware that the word Orihara means something in Polaris? She asked quietly. It's a little difficult to translate, but it comes out meaning something like eternal vigilance or even recurring vigilance, although it has connotations of stealth and to a lesser extent cunning. An interesting piece of trivia, don't you think? Now if you could go to the bar and await me, she informs you quietly, I will return as quickly as I can with the council's answer. Ooh, they will sell us the Wraith Cannon now. That's pretty nice. I mean, we don't want one, although they are pretty good. Okay, so I just read this. The Polarons for Wraithy are harvested by deep space mining scoops run by the Trapira. These Polarons are then shipped to the Pate facilities for encapsulation to the Mar Graviton field that will hold them until they impact at a speed of greater than 20 kilometers an hour. Now, I know what they meant. They probably meant 20 kilometers per second, but 20 kilometers per hour is, like 15 miles an hour, or, just a little over running speed. Anyway, sorry. That's ridiculous. That's hilarious, actually. You sit in the bar, trying to get used to the strange surroundings. Your eyes keep flicking to the group of gray-cloaked men sitting at the tables surrounding a man garbed in all brown. They seem to be acting very casually, but you get the feeling that their eyes bore into you every time you even blink. You get the feeling that these men are far more dangerous than they are trying to look. You see Miranda walk in, and she grins as she spots you. The council has decided to allow you access to the technology, she confirms happily. Once they heard about your piloting exploits, they were more than willing to hand it over to you. They do suggest that you tell your leaders to look into their intelligence network. They believe you may have a leak. Now we have to go to Ver-Arshan in the Ver-Arshan system. Ver-Arshan in the Ver-Arshan system, she continues cheerfully. Now, I will be going along with you so I can introduce you to avoid any misunderstandings. Not that many Polarans actually understand Basic, so I will also serve as translator. So when do we leave? She asks brightly. You down the remains of your almost revoltingly wholesome Polaris drink they serve here, and the pair of you start heading back to the beloved Duke of Earl II. Despite the incredibly advanced Polaris ships around her, possibly because of it, never before has she shone quite so well. You step inside feeling enormously satisfied. Cool. Just occurred to me that Ringworld is one of the very few places that has that has a star in the system. Miranda heads out and greets an elderly-looking green-robed man in the musical Polaris tongue. They exchange a few pleasantries before Miranda turns to you. May I present Veritanin, she says, the leader of the Varash, what we call our engineer and healer caste. He bows, and you bow deeply in response, saying that you have been overwhelmed by not only the technology of the Polaris, but also by their kindness and generosity. He beams and bows deeply. He responds with a few words, and Miranda tells you that he is impressed with your courtly manners, and that he is happy to learn that not all outsiders are barbarians. He then glances towards a group of similarly garbed men, and they begin loading your cargo before bowing again and leaving you alone with Miranda. Well done, she praises freely. I doubt he could have been handled better. I believe this is goodbye, she continues, for now anyway. I have my duties here, and you must return to the rebellion. I'm glad that we were able to help you, despite the potential difficulties that we might face because of it. I'm glad to have met you, Orihara. So I don't think we need to worry about getting scanned, but I also don't really want to get scanned just in case. Yeah, no, it just says get the Polaris tech. It doesn't say avoid being scanned. We will be taking a quick stop at Outbound to refuel. Hopefully nobody in here. So, we should probably head to Korea. I want to, after we stop there, check one of the Federation planets to see if we can get those last terraforming missions. It's been plenty of time, so I would hope we would. See, the ship upgraded system of this game is really good. Like, when we first bought this Starbridge, it was good. It was good, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't, like, amazing. But now I feel like we can take on most threats. You step out of your ship to be greeted by General Smart, Dr. Oriolo Pentecost, and Cardinal Vardi de Valera. Excellent work, Orihara, exclaims General Smart in greeting. This may prove to be a turning point in our battle, agrees Dr. Pentecost. It seems the gods are with us, replies Cardinal de Valera. For they have blessed us with the best gift of all, resourceful and devoted people who are prepared to serve in whatever extraordinary circumstances arise. You shift uncomfortably under the praise of these men. And don't worry about our intel failure in alerting the Federation to your mission, General Smart informs you sternly. Steps are being carried out to eliminate that threat. We wanted to thank you for your efforts in liaising with the Polaris, he continues seriously, and to praise your exploits in piloting past the Federation blockade undetected. It is good to know people like you are on our side, as I would hate to think what would happen if you weren't. After the three rebel leaders depart, you see your supervisor, Jeff, walk over to you. You're starting to make a big impression, he says with a cheerful smile. Everybody around here is talking about you, the latest big name in rebel ranks, and rightly so. Why don't you have a few days R&R, he suggests, clapping you on the shoulder. If anyone's earned it, you have. But keep checking back here, because it won't be too long before I need you again. Oh, and by the way, he suddenly remembers, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have been transferring money into your account as a payment. I made sure you got a hefty sum this time around. You deserve it. So we're at 3.1. So we got 70,000 credits? Yeah. That's nothing. So let's head to Rimshot. Always something. Actually, let's take the hypergates there. There's a premise to Corella, and then up to Rimshot. Taking 0 days. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? The hypergate system really is quite nice. I only wish that it let you look at the entire hypergate network instead of just the adjacent ones. But oh well. As you browse through the many ship outfits on offer, you see the slim figure and dark hair of Sharon Masterson walk into the room, and you wave her over. I need another weapon tested, she tells you in a professional tone. It's the same deal as last time. We need someone to do a few final field tests of a weapon before we start selling it to the Federation Navy. Again, this test isn't entirely legal, and it is quite dangerous, so don't say yes if you don't think you're up to it. This time, we're testing a new etheric wake missile. We will be giving you a missile launcher, as well as a few etheric wake missiles for it. Like last time, we have hired a pirate raider, she informs you in a professional voice. This one is called the Old Grey Fox, and it will be paid a significant sum of money if it destroys you. It will once again be located in the Naka system. When you are finished, return here with all your data. So now, I mean, it's not going to, I guess it's not going to show up here. Oh, there we go. Oh, they're 1-ton missiles. Oh, that's frustrating. That's frustrating. So we won't actually be able to... Oh, nice. Our work is finished and the first boatload of colonists is ready. Would you like to pick them up and see the final product? If you do, head over to the deliveries office and they'll organize everything. You immediately head down to the deliveries office and tell them that you are here to pick up the colonists. After a few minutes wait, they inform you that the colonists will meet you outside your ship in 1 hour. An hour later, you see 10 families coming towards your ship, and you greet them all and get them aboard as quickly as possible. So... So we're going to be taking a slight detour on your way to your newfound home in the what's the right word here? It begins with a P, meaning paradise-like. I don't remember. There's another word. Oh well. Oh, that would be here. Oh well. Why is there a manticore? I was not told about a manticore. This is unfortunate. Okay, well, we're gonna have to deal with these guys first, I think. Okay then, we want to be out of range of him. Okay, that's not good. Stop. Oh, nope. This is bad. This is bad. Don't worry, colonists. We're fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. Okay, let's see if we can... Yeah, if we stay right here, we should be fine. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. Oh dear. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Don't worry. Everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. So yeah, apparently you're going to be on a pretty fantastic new planet. I've been there a few times, delivering various things. Oh, I can't board the ship. That's ridiculous. Just ignore what we're doing here. No problems. No problem whatsoever. Anyway. Well, I'm glad we didn't die. That would have been an ignominious end to the colonists. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have liked me very much. Yeah, we were transporting colonists. Yeah, they died while going to the terraformed world. What? No. They died because I got into a fight with a pirate. Hey, look at that. As soon as you land near the main complex, the colonists exit to begin the registration process of starting on a new world. You wish them all the best of luck and shake the hand of everyone. You cannot help but admire their pioneering spirit. Once you have finished unloading the colonists, you head over to what is left of the buildings where David and his team resided during the years they were terraforming the planet. Captain Lutzus Magna, booms David as you walk in. What do you think of our slice of paradise? You reply that you really are amazed stunned at the achievements made by him and his fellow scientists. Ah, well, he tells you sadly, we must now move on. Now that we have proved that our theories can be successfully applied, Nirvana wants us to head out and do that all again. It would be nice to settle down, but business goes on, and we have another 15 years on our contracts. Still, he brightens considerably, we get legal ownership of a large piece of land on any world we terraform, and when my contract is up, I'll be living on one of the most beautiful worlds in the galaxy. And one final thing, he finishes quietly. Nirvana has been impressed by your reliability and will be making available missions transporting colonists here from all over the Federation through the mission BBS. As for me, after my debrief, I will be given another team and sent out again. It has been nice knowing you, Lepsis Magna. Maybe I'll see you again in 15 years' time. I wish you well. Nirvana. Until recently, this world was completely uninhabitable for humans, and even environment suits were barely enough. But thanks to a team of terraformers from Nirvana Terraforming and Stellar Engineering, PTY Limited, who spent nearly a decade working on its environment, it is now something of a paradise, and the results speak for themselves. The only drawback is that the atmosphere here is a little thin. At sea level, it is comparable to living at altitude on Earth. But still, it is universally thought of as being the first successfully terraforming project completed by humanity. This bar is called the Rengal's Rest and claims to be the last stopover for David Rengal, the leader of the terraformers before he left to go on to his next project. You smile at the stories of the barman because you know that this bar wasn't even built at the time David left. Well, except... never mind. Still, the drinks here are good enough for you to keep your mouth shut. Not going to be much here, I would imagine. Sigma Shipyards, United Shipping... yeah, nothing interesting. Still, we have helped a star system become inhabitable. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I've just noticed we have 3.3 million credits. I don't know when that happened. As soon as you land, a dozen or so engineers begin swarming all over your craft, demanding all of your logs and taking all kinds of readings. Shaking your head, you comply with all their demands and without comment until you see Sharon making her way over. You did well, she compliments you, but then that's why we chose you for this mission. Keep an eye out, and we will have more of these missions for you in the future. You know, you say that, but I don't actually think I ever got any missions after this. I mean, maybe we got one? I don't really remember. Oh well. Speed -3. Psh. Wait, fuel drain 1 unit. So it must... oh, so I'm guessing that the Polaron cannon precisely balances out having a solar panel. Interesting. That's very nice. Well, not a whole lot left here for us, so I think we will head back out to Korea, I'm sorry. Perhaps we'll come back and... okay, that has not been a decade, because we started this game playthrough in 1179, and it's now 1183, so... Oh well. I get where they're going. Or I get where they're coming from. I suppose making it actually be 5 years would take way too long. Although, as I mentioned, I'm pretty sure they do have some amount of ability to adjust how things play out time-wise. So, I don't know. Yeah, no, not really. Oh. Were we supposed to do something? We have no active missions. Maybe no, because we went all over the place, so it's not like there's anything else we need to be doing. Let's head back to Seoul, I guess. Oh, no, not those. I don't like those. Oh my. Okay, so we need to keep out of range of his ion cannon. I don't like ion cannons. Okay, so this is a good range. Yeah, this is pretty good. Oh, too close. Oh, come on, we just want to board. Oh. Yeah. You're all very impressive. So we're very competent. No, we're still very competent. I wonder if we need to boost our combat rating more now. I hope not. Let's drop by Sigma Shipyard, see if there's anything down there. I'd also like to do one of those colonist missions. No one in the bar, no one in the shipyard, no one in the outfitters. Transport colonists? 75,000 credits. Wow. That's pretty good. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's kind of a long build up to being able to do that, but I suppose it's a fun side quest, so I'm not complaining. I'm just happy this worked out well. So, I don't remember what the last thing we did for the rebels was. I also don't remember what they said we should do. So, we got the scanning equipment. Yeah, I think we were just supposed to, There we go. Ooh. As you browse through the many ship outfits on offer, you see the slim figure and dark hair of Sharon Masterton walk into the room and wave you over. I have a very dangerous mission for you, she tells you in a tone that implies she means business. We want to look at developing a weapon currently only held by a foreign government. What you are doing will be highly illegal, and you are likely to be killed if you are caught. Are you in? I think the Polaris are going to... Yeah, the Polaris are going to get mad at us now. Yeah. Oh, dear. We want you to look at what the Polaris call the Wraith Cannon, she tells you quietly. We know it uses Polaron technology, and we want to know a little more about it. So we want you to go to Nil Mjolnir in the Mjolnir system and take a few photographs of a Wraith Cannon and the Wraithy it fires. If we can get our hands on this technology, she shares with you slyly, it will be worth billions. So if you can make it back here, we are prepared to pay you 500,000 credits. Believe me, if you can get past Polaris security and make it back here in one piece, you will have earned it. So here's the funny thing. As a rebel, we can just buy a Wraith Cannon. I suppose they don't really want us to think about that, but it's fine. It's fine. But seriously, we could just buy a Wraith Cannon. And Wraithy. Just saying. Polaris space is also much easier to navigate. Yes, I will never get tired of complaining about Auroran space. Trying to look like you know what you're doing, you head down to what appears to be the bays where the Polaris repair their damaged ships. You get a few odd looks, but luckily nobody asks any questions. You walk around and take a few surreptitious snaps of the Wraith Cannon as being reattached to an arachnid, and take a few quick pictures of a series of fluorescent purple packets of energy that are called Wraithy as they are loaded on board as well. Remaining casual, you make your way back to your ship and stow away your pictures before heading out into space to try to sift through the Polaris defense net and make your way back to Glytechnia in the Rimshot system. Seriously, we can just buy one. We can just buy one. Like, they will sell it to us for 200,000 credits plus 1,000 credits per Wraithy. I'm just saying. We don't need to slip through any security nets. They'll give it to us. Just need to get away from anybody trying to scan us. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, we need to get out of here very quickly. There we go. Okay. Cargo inspection. How would they know that we had pictures? Also, you would literally just sell us a cannon. I could literally have a cannon on my ship right now, and you wouldn't care. I'm almost tempted to go sell off one of our turrets for it, but we'd have to sell off the Polaron cannon as well, which I suppose is fine. Ah, well. No, yeah, Wraith Cannon is probably worth it. Although, we're probably going to get one this way, so... You are met by a beaming Sharon Masterton when you land. I'm impressed, she congratulates you warmly. As far as I'm aware, you're the first person who has been able to make it through the Polaris defense grid alive. Is there something you're not telling us? I'm part of the rebellion. They think I'm some sort of future prophet guy. Or I'm supposed to bring balance to the Force, or something like that. I've been to Polaris on multiple occasions to offer them a deal. Miranda asked me if I could take her to the Polaris homeworld. No, I can't think of anything, no. She laughs and you grin. So where are the photographs, she asks, becoming more serious, and you head back on board to fish them out and hand them over. She takes a few moments to scan them. This is exactly what we were after. It's worth every cent we are paying you. I need to get this to the appropriate people, she tells you all business again, but keep an eye out on the ship outfitting area if you want to be the one to test this new weapon when we eventually manufacture it. Yeah, so wait a minute, we're just going to get... Okay, that's actually pretty much perfect, because we're going to get the Wraith Cannon from these guys, and then we can buy the Wraith from Polaris. That's pretty good. Actually, this is going to be perfect, I think. A long delivery, 200,000 credits, not worth it. Given... Oh, the Imperial Archives. We haven't been there, have we? I think you can get there from Aurora, right? Yeah, looks like it. Well, that's almost tempting. To honor in the Bloodstone system. I think we've been there. Okay. Yeah, no, we can do that. Plus, I wanted to go to the Imperial Archives anyway. So we will accept this. I will not even pretend to... okay, so 2 tons. So we can probably... We can also pick up a transport colonists. Yeah. Cool. Off we go then. I don't think there's a difference between the Glytech version of the Polaron, or the Wraith Cannon, and the Polaris version of the Wraith Cannon, but there might be. I know there's at least one version that can be fired while cloaked, but I think we get that during the Polaris storyline. I don't really remember. It's too bad that I lost the last half of that recording. I really feel bad about that. Almost there. Actually, this is going to be the perfect amount of fuel, isn't it? Excellent. So, remember, I found that mod that we had that adjusts... What are you doing here? Whatever. Yada yada yada. Crates, yada yada yada. Yeah. Okay, here we go. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, this is pretty cool. Can't buy any of it, but it's the Imperial Archives of telling you all of this crazy stuff. Shield plus 2,000 shield recharge. Wow, that's crazy. Topographic sense. Oh, yeah. Auto refueler. Telekinetic. Yeah. Ha! Nanites. Oh, man. 30 tons. Well, I mean, that... Yeah, I don't think that's how that works. Oh, well. Dart. Wait. Dart, Divisible Mind. That implies that there should be ones for the... Not the dart, the javelin and the other one. Oh, well. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, we're done here. I keep hitting N instead of M. Hopefully we can get back to Bloodstone without refueling. Then we'll be able to head back to Glytech. I suppose I don't remember getting the Wraith Cannon in the last playthrough, so yeah, maybe this isn't such a bad idea. We're gonna have so much extra stuff on our ship now. It's great. And because the Wraithy don't weigh anything, we'll be able to use them as an actual attack weapon. That's pretty great. We're going to have one overloaded starbridge. Let's see here. Long delivery, 200,000 credits. Well, we don't particularly care about that. Head over to Procicon, Nirvana, and then back to Glytech. And hopefully at that point, the rebellion will be up for continuing their storyline. I mean, it's been months at this point, so they should. There's also supposed to be a system around here, because from the mods, where we can repaint our ship, but I have no idea where that would be. There's also a mod, and I don't remember what mod it is. It might be the Arpia mod that adds a series of 4 systems up here somewhere, which obviously connect elsewhere. Oh, really? No one? Anywhere? Bueller? Come on. How much time do we have to wait? I hope it's not a matter of needing to have a higher combat rating, because we're not really doing anything to increase our combat rating at this point. I want to say this is going to be our longest playthrough, just because there's been so many things going wrong. Hopefully we'll be able to pick up the Rebel storyline now, though. Come back. Excellent. As you step once more into this establishment, you notice your supervisor, Jeff Daniels, sitting at a table not far, waving in your direction. You walk over and sit down after shaking hands. I'm glad you stopped by, he begins with a welcoming smile. I have something for you. You'll be happy to know that it doesn't involve anything as arduous as traveling all the way to Polaris space and back. It wasn't that far, really. We got there in 1 tank of gas. Now that we have this new Polaris technology, he explains, we want someone to take it out on a test run to see if it's worth our while to mass produce it, to start putting in all of our ships. Are you interested in being the guinea pig? Why, yes. It shouldn't be too hard for someone of your piloting abilities, he asserts confidently. Just fly around Federation space, landing on planets and stations until you get start getting some anomalous readings. Once you've done that, come back here and we'll get our techs to see if they can understand all the technobabble, and we'll take it from there. He leans back and rubs his tired-looking eyes. I don't need to remind you, he states languidly, that we don't want the Federation to become aware of the technology we have. Otherwise, we will lose half the advantage it gives us. So if you could stay out of the way of their warships, it would be appreciated by everyone on the intel side of things. So you're telling me, wander around Federation space, oh, by the way, don't get scanned. That seems ridiculous. We'll see what we can do, I suppose. I'm really hoping that I'm remembering this correctly, because as I mentioned, the Bureau's... Hey, look, Prodigal Son. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, this does seem to indicate we may be in the right place. Okay, so... Just need to get next to the planet. There we go. As soon as you land on New England, you head out to stretch your legs. After spending so long in space, you need to work out a few kinks. You come back from after a short walk and decide to check up on the readouts from the holoscanner. You are slightly amused to see it lit up like a Christmas tree, with readouts spewing forth various data at enormous rates. You wonder aloud in a slightly sarcastic voice if this is what the techies would consider to be anomalous. You decide that it is strange enough for you. You were getting sick of this aimless wandering around Federation space anyway. Time to head back to Rebel 2. Yes, aimless wandering. Not that we, went straight there or anything. Don't worry about it. I wonder what sort of anomalous readings are we picking up, I mean, I suppose we'll find out, but it's a little weird, I guess. Like, why is the Bureau's... Oh, well. As soon as you land, your ship is overrun by rude techies who have no consideration for the rules of your ship. This happens a lot. You get annoyed and throw them out until you finish your post-flight routine. You walk out and give them an ear-bashing about giving a pilot and his ship a little more consideration next time. They are very apologetic and you decide to let them get back to their work. As they tentatively go about their business, you turn to see Jeff looking at you with a large smirk on his face. They don't get put in their place very often, he comments, laughing. They normally get a free run because we need everything they can come up with. You've made an old hand very happy. Come to the intel office and we'll have a look at the preliminary findings. You enter a large room with about 40 terminals all manned by headset-wearing personnel. Jeff immediately goes up to the nearest terminal and looks over the shoulder of its operator. His eyes widen slightly. Where did you get these readings, he asks calmly. You tell him that they were picked up on New England in the Wolf 359 system. Really? He muses. That's an awful lot of traffic going in and out of a planet that is best known as a retirement spot. Interesting. He turns to you with an absent-minded nod and grimaces slightly. By the way, Jeff continues, we have cleared you for the purchase of Rebel capital ships as well. If you would like to have one, you can now buy them wherever we have a shipyard. Come by the bar in a few days, he informs you seriously. By then, we'll have done some, at least preliminary analysis of this data, and I reckon that I'll have something for you. In the meantime, enjoy the credits we've put into your account. 50,000 credits. It's nothing. It's nothing. Okay, so now we have the opportunity to buy a Rebel destroyer. And a Rebel Dragon, I believe, yeah. The destroyers are 800,000 credits? Seriously? Oh, man. Also, my trade-in is 247,000? What is wrong? My ship trade-in value should be 1.5 million credits. Like, 1.5 million. Whatever. E-41s. The ancient craft have proved difficult to improve, as such a large task is beyond Donald Chick and his small but dedicated group of shipwrights. The Ministers tweaks, power outfits, shields, speed 200, average turn, acceleration, shield 765, 75 tons of space, 50 tons of cargo, 4 medium blasters, 2 quad light blaster turrets, 2 gravimetric missile launchers, 30 ammo, 2 Raven rocket turrets, 90 ammo. 6 guns, 3 turrets. I don't know. This is almost tempting. The Rebel Dragons. But no, I don't think so. Yeah, as cool as the destroyer is, Shield 765, armor 775. Yeah, that's the problem. Why can't we find out what our shield strength is? It's ridiculous. It's probably lower. Let's assume that it's on par with their Rebel Star Bridge, which would put it significantly ahead. Or rather, the destroyer would be significantly ahead. I don't know. I mean, the destroyer's cool and all. This is hard. This is a tough decision. It's also only 100,000 credits, which kind of worries me, you know? Like, I want bigger ships. Oh well. I think we'll do without. We will head to Rimshot for one last shot at getting the Wraith Cannon, because that would be quite nice. Then we won't have to worry about anything, because we can just fire Wraithy and forget about it. Hopefully they give us a Wraith Cannon, and hopefully it's compatible with the existing Wraith. Oh, come on. I could just bring you one. Would that work? Oh, well. Sigma Rush Delivery. I do kind of want to get a... I wonder if we really do just need to have a higher combat rating. Oh, well. That would be unfortunate. We'll try it later, I guess. Yeah, as cool as the Destroyer is, this is a cooler ship. I like it too much. Are we really going to end this game with one ship upgrade? That's incredible. Incredible. Oirihara, comes the friendly voice of Jeff Daniels when you walk in. Over here! You walk over to him and he pushes out a seat and invites you to sit down after shaking hands. That scanning technology has turned out to be something of a gold mine, he begins with glee. We now know that New England is where the Bureau HQ is located. The emissions that caused the machine to light up were, quite simply, the result of the enormous amount of high-level holo traffic going in and out of the system. We have already dispatched someone to the planet to begin scanning the transmissions. We also found that a lot of transmissions were coming from one particular system, he continues seriously. Nestor Secundus, in fact. That's where you come in. Are you interested in going down there and having a look? Why not? Excellent, he exclaims happily. In reality, it's very simple. We want you to head down there and have a look around. While you're there, land on Space Dock 5 and see what you can find out. Once you've done that, return here for a debrief. Don't spend too much time out there, he warns in a slightly odd tone. I'm getting the feeling that we're starting to come to a head. Things are starting to come to a head. I believe that we are beginning to stumble on the edges of something that big that the Bureau has been putting together for a while. If I'm right, they might not like an outsider nosing around. Take care of yourself out there. And Nestor Secundus. I really want to get that Wraith Cannon, though. Can't I get the Wraith Cannon? That is a lot of things. Space Dock 5. Well, they aren't attacking us, so, you know, I'm okay with that. As you land, you wonder what so many ships are doing in this system, and seeing the level of activity on the station only arouses your curiosity further. They are obviously preparing for something, but what? Eventually, you come to a slightly less busy part of the station where you can access an info terminal without being too worried about someone looking over your shoulder. You search for over an hour before you find an order from Admiral Raxak to the chief supply officer telling him to have the war stocks increased to a level of 3 months. 3 months! Nobody stockpiles 3 months' worth of stocks unless they are preparing to begin operating without the chance of regular resupply for a while. And the only time Federation forces would be doing that if they were operating in enemy territory. You suddenly realize that you had better get back to Rebel 2 to let them know about the planned invasion into an Auroran space, and soon, by the look of the level of readiness that has already been achieved. I mean, we're going to take a slight detour. We could take them down. I'm just saying. We could whittle down each one of those destroyers. A destroyer really is tempting, but I don't want to lose the Star Bridge. Come on. Oh, fine. Be that way. Oh, actually, we only have to go to Corella, I believe. Why do we only have to go to Corella? Because there's a hypergate here. Isn't that nice? Instant teleportation. It's pretty great. I should start building more of those, I'm just saying. Upon landing, you are greeted by Jeff. What did you find? He asks, smiling. You quickly relay the events of your trip, and he just as quickly loses his smile. This is bad, he comments seriously, but maybe we can turn it to our advantage. How long do you reckon it will take the Roughnecks until they are ready to begin operating independently inside Auroran space? You tell them that they are ready to begin now, but they are probably going to stick to their 3-month stockpile. Then they will... But if they are going to stick to the 3-month stockpile, then they probably still require another 2 months. Jeff mulls that over for a moment. Good work, he says finally. Come by the bar soon and I will have something for you. I think it's too late to head it off, but we might be able to manage to squeeze something out of it. As you sit quietly sipping your drink, you hear a surge in the conversation at the door as the number of rebels greet one of their superiors. You ignore it until you catch a glimpse of the man they are greeting. You recognize him as General Smart, who makes his way over to you. Sorry to interrupt your relaxation, he says by way of greeting, but Jeff Daniels is off somewhere doing whatever spooks do when they disappear. He left a message in my hands to pass on, and when I heard that you had stopped by, I dropped everything to come down here and to get it to you. Are you interested in learning more about the mercenary organization that calls itself the Wild Geese? You raise your eyebrows at hearing General Smart mentioning your old comrades in arms. They are a mercenary outfit, operating out of New Ireland in the Tuatha system, he explains. They are the main reason why the Federation has allowed New Ireland to remain independent, even though it is completely surrounded. Not that the Federation is above using them to shore up their defenses, they are currently being employed to man Space Dock 6. He stops, looking a little annoyed as you start smiling. Something amusing, he asks after a moment, and you explain some of your history with the Wild Geese. Oh, he grins, looking a little sheepish. You won't have to hear the rest of my info on them then. Well then, he concludes smiling, we want you to go down to New Ireland in the Tuatha system to talk to Eamon Flanagan to find out what he wants in return for the aid of his forces in the coming troubles. See, they called them troubles that time. Sorry. Actually, once again, we can just take the Hypergate system. Not as far this time, but... So it is currently November 28th. And yeah, so it's still November 28th. Isn't that great? None of those help us. Well, Corella kind of helps us. Let's see if Corella Hypergate will take us anywhere useful. Hey, Nezar Secundus. Yeah, there we go. No time at all. You are greeted by a smiling Flanagan. After several moments of catching up, you explain to him the situation in detail while he listens carefully. Raxack's involved, he says thoughtfully. For that piece of information, you can tell your superiors that I'll do it for free. It probably won't take you long, as I believe you know that man over there already. He points out Jeff Daniels sitting nearby, who comes over smiling. I think we found what we needed to, he says, grinning at your confused expression. Let's get out of here before he changes his mind. Okay. Well, that was a little too easy. Yeah, whatever. Now, you'll have to pardon me. I know this whole invasion of Auroran space is important and all, but you know, I got weapons to test. And you know, it's not like the weapons that they'd be testing would be good enough to alter the balance of power in the known galaxy. It's like those Wraithy probably wouldn't be able to, you know, destroy literally everything. Just ignore me. Just ignore me. Just checking in. Okay, fine. There's no one there ever. It's ridiculous. I wonder if I do need a higher combat rating. That'll be frustrating. It's the only thing I can imagine at this point, though. Another promise. I think that's the... No, wait. There was one in Korea, wasn't there? Yeah. I don't know who's attacking, but I don't really care. On the way back, Jeff tries to tell you some of Flanagan's history, but you laugh at him, telling him that he is an old friend of yours and that you probably know more about him than he does. Ah, yes, he murmurs quietly. I'd forgotten that you'd been knighted by them. He explains away his presence by saying that he knew you were going to be turning up sometime, so he dropped off there and just waited. In the meantime, I have had several chats with Mr. Flanagan. He smiles are menacing. He is a very astute man. Very few people in the universe are anywhere near as well informed about the events that go on throughout the galaxy. He does have a weakness about Rakzak, though. It goes back to an incident several years ago between the two of them where Rakzak refused to admit that he had been saved by Flanagan and his men. Apparently, that annoyed the hell out of the Wild Geese leader, and they have been basically at each other's throats ever since. I don't know how Rakzak does it, he continues, shaking his head in disbelief. If I had irritated a man as capable as Eamon Flanagan, I would be going out of my way to make it up to him somehow. Good work out there, Jeff praises warmly as he snaps out of his reverie. Keep stopping by the bar. It shouldn't be too long before I have something else for you. There you are, exclaims Jeff with a grin as he gets his drink from a barmaid. I was hoping you would drop in. The two of you walk over to his regular table. We want to make the coming invasion as difficult for the Federation as possible, he says neutrally after you both sit down. So we want you to find out how prepared the Aurorans are. If they are pretty well prepared, we'll concentrate our efforts into other things. If not, we'll have to give them a hand. That's where you come in. We want you to scout out the Aurora system to see what's going on, he explains. We don't want you to land. The Aurorans have some tricky customs regulations that usually involve killing and maiming. I mean, we've been there many, many times. They like us. If I were you, I would avoid that. But if you could find the system Aurora and have a look around, that would be ideal. Interested? Seeing as you have actually opened a chapter house for the Guild of Bounty Hunters, Jeff muses, you should be familiar with the way Aurorans do things. See, he knew. He knew. Oh, actually, what are we doing? Always take the Hypergate. It's just better. Oh, what? Oh, look at that. I doubt we'll be able to get to Aurora, but... Oh, we can. I don't remember there being a Hypergate in Aurora. I guess that's fine. Oh, dear. Well then. Okay, so let's head back over to Donnie. That was a bit much. I could have come back the same day. Like, literally the same day. That would have surprised them, right? That would have been hilarious. It's just, didn't you just take off? Sorry. So what did you find? Asks Jeff after you step out of your ship. You're not surprised that it only took us like a week? You relay the events of your trip, and he raises his eyebrows when you mention the presence of two vessels with the Federation identifications in the Aurora system. Are you sure? He asks, surprised. Can you tell me their designations? You reply that the techies can probably do better than that once they analyze the data from the holoscanner you took with you. True, he agrees with a sheepish grin. This incident has sparked my interest. I think it will be very interesting to find out what is going on down there. It's not at all like Aurorans to impersonate the Federation. Anyway, he continues brusquely, stay close to the bar. I get the feeling that we will need your expertise again very soon. You look over to see Jeff sitting in his usual seat. He signals you over with a tired wave of his hand. I need to send you on another long journey, I'm afraid, he says tiredly, rubbing his eyes. We didn't get anything conclusive from the holoscanner except that there are ships with Federation designations were real Federation ships. Obviously, there's something going on here that we need to know more about. So I want you to go to Moash and the Moash system, in the hope that you will find something more useful there. You won't be needing the holoscanner, as we've now discovered the Aurorans don't use holo transmissions very much at all. I hate to ask you of this, but are you willing to do it? Sure. I want you to know that I really appreciate this, he says sincerely. Now I need to tell you a few things to help you survive this mission. Firstly, he explains seriously, the Auroran warriors have a custom of challenging newcomers to their world to a duel. Don't try to engage them in hand-to-hand combat. They train for years in those disciplines. If they attack you, shoot them, and shoot to kill. Maiming is bad form and will cause others to join the fight. A clean death is much more honorable. Secondly, he continues tiredly, don't get into a verbal joust with them. They respect doers of deeds and dislike speakers of rubbish. That's a good line. Other than that, he concludes, running a hand through his hair, just keep your eyes open. They have a habit of jumping on you from unexpected angles. Good luck down there. Jumping on you from unexpected angles. Yeah, we are well aware of that. Drop bears. Sorry. Heron. Oh my. Ahem. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. Well then. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's let our shield recharge for a little bit. Get them to... Yeah. I think we can swing by, because they'll... Oh, dear. Yeah, Moash is not happy with us, I think. Oh, no. Whew. You land wondering what so many Federation ships are doing in this system. You cease wondering when you see 10 savagely tattooed warriors arrayed outside your ship wielding various brutal-looking blade weapons. You waste no time drawing your blaster and begin calmly shooting them dead one by one as they charge. From 10 meters away, the last one falls at your feet with a smoking hole where his left eye used to be. The warriors looking on, grin and salute your shooting prowess and bravery in standing against the charge. You shake your head and start looking around for clues as to what's going on. It's not long before you run into a group that appears to be Bureau negotiators talking to Moash Warrior. Listening, you overhear detailed information concerning the Bureau plan, wherein Raxak's men are going to be destroyed in a PR exercise to start a war involving both the Federation and Auroran Empire. You decide it's time to get back to Rebel 2 and pass this on to Jeff. Okay, so taking off here is going to be a little tricky. Oh no, no, I just need to land. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, that's frustrating. We have to go we have to actually use the hyperspace system. That's going to take so many days. Fine. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If only we could have used the hypergate. If only I'd hit the right button. Or rather, if only when I'd hit the right button, it hadn't chosen the planet rather than the hypergate. That's really what caused our problems. Oh, not again. Just leave us alone. Fine. Go the old-fashioned way. Takes forever. You know, I just don't want to deal with you guys right now. Much more calming down here. Jeff greets you grimly as you step off your ship. Did you find anything, he asks hopefully. You nod and give him a rundown on what you discovered. He looks at you for a long moment with narrowed eyes digesting the information that you just gave him. Oh my, he exclaims in horror, his eyes widening suddenly. They're going to sacrifice Raxak's entire force in order to start a war that the Federation will win. You look confused and ask how the Federation could defeat the Aurorans in battle. Conventional military wisdom states that the Federation simply does not have the resources to pacify something the size of the Auroran Empire. Come with me and I will show you how, he replies cryptically. Jeff takes you into an office with a single terminal on the desk. He quickly calls up a display of information from an analysis from a holoscanner. This is an analysis of recent data gained from the holoscanner on New England, he explains in a no-nonsense professional manner. They show that the Bureau has been organizing Federation forces into 2 enormous fleets. They have been passing on intelligence regarding these Auroran major thrusts into Federation space. From reports coming from the front, he continues briskly, these Auroran strikes have actually been made up of countless ships from 4 of the 5 major houses, but not one Moash ship has been sent against them. I'm willing to bet that the Bureau is going to send Raxax's men into a waiting trap where he will be annihilated within Federation space, he states forcefully. They will then inflame in public opinion and send the troops off to war against the 4 houses that will be severely depleted, and the first family won't lift a finger to help them. Wait for me in the bar, Jeff says. He's suddenly impassive. I'm going to have another mission for you within the hour. Jeff walks in briskly and spots you almost immediately. There you are, Orihara, he greets you brusquely. It looks like the Bureau is going to cut off Raxac's forces using the entire Moash fleet, plus most of the Bureau's forces. If we can draw Raxac into Auroran space and keep him there, we have a chance of salvaging the situation. I need you to go on a long roundabout mission. He continues diffidently. You'll be heading from here to New Ireland in the Tuatha system. Then you will go on to Haran in the Haran system before going to Ramerta in the Pemmin system. We will need to get messages to these people at those places urgently, as we are just about out of time to try and turn this Federation invasion into not only a real defeat, but also a public relations coup against the Bureau. Are you interested? Excellent, he exclaims happily. We need to alert these people so they can prepare for the coming events. The wild geese need to be ready to jump in and save Raxac's backside, otherwise a war will be started. We need to warn the Haran house, as they, being the hated enemy of the Moash house, are the most likely to bear the brunt of the first invasion force. They are also the most reasonable of the major houses, so they might actually listen. If you can get Flanagan along with that part of the mission, it will make things a lot easier. If not, you'll have to do it on your own. Finally, he continues quietly, I want you to warn the Ramertan warriors, as they are the only group of warriors that are trusted implicitly by the Aurorian courts. Their testimony is law, and if we can get them to witness Moash complicity in this matter, then the whole Auroran Empire will be thrown into turmoil. When you are finished, return here, he finishes simply. Any questions? No? Then good luck, my friend. Well then, always something. Okay, so we need to go to Tuatha. I think... So we can get to Nezar Secundus. But that's it. Now we can head down to Tuatha. So that's 2 days, 4 days, 6, 8... 9 days. Yeah, so this is quite a bit of time. Greetings, Orihara, calls the savagely tattooed Eamon Flanagan as you open your hatch. What brings you to my humble abode? You outline what you know and what your mission is as quickly as you can. He asks a number of questions regarding the veracity of the intelligence gained, which you answer as concisely as possible. After a few minutes, he seems satisfied, if slightly stunned. Why is he calling us Orihara? He knows who we are. I was aware the Bureau was working with the Moash house on something, he mutters quietly, but I wasn't sure it was anything this big. He turns back to you. And what are you planning to do now, Orihara? He asks intently. You reply that you are going to travel to Haran and Ramerta to talk with the warriors there regarding the coming events. I can see your plan, he nods approvingly, and it is a good one. I may be of some assistance. As you already know, he explains thoughtfully, I am a warrior of the Haran house. If I were to travel with you, you would not have to deal with the young warriors challenging you just to be allowed to step foot on their planet. They would also be more likely to listen to what you had to say if I were there to back you. You nod, saying that you are more than happy to have him along to help out in any way, especially if it would speed things up. You ask if he has any advice about dealing with the Ramertans. They call themselves Dektakers, he answers almost reverently, which translates roughly as, we who sacrifice ourselves for the highest cause. They are loyal to the first family, but their honor is beyond question. And yes, I can help with them. As a fellow Auroran warrior of many battles who has fought alongside them on many occasions, my word carries some weight. I need a couple hours to organize the geese, he decides finally. Meet me in the bar and I will journey with you. You see Eamon Flanagan enter the bar, just about filling the doorway with his muscular frame. You down the rest of your drink in a single swallow before getting up and heading back to the tier ship with him. On the way, he tells you that he will have to do most of the talking when they first land, and will continue to do the talking until he has introduced you to the house elders. Once that has been taken care of, the elders will then listen to whatever you have to say, not only with the weight that they would have given the words spoken by Flanagan, but also with the added weight of the respect they have for you. And don't think that your last point is negligible, Eamon wags his finger. I have been following your career as closely as I can with the resources I have, and I have mentioned you more than once to them. They know, as I do, that you are perhaps the most widely traveled person in the galaxy, and one of the most skilled pilots around. Of course, he continues, you aren't an Auroran warrior, which is a count against you, but the Haran leaders are more open-minded than most, and they realize that most Auroran warriors couldn't even hope to have done half the things you have. The real test will be when we see the Romertons, he muses thoughtfully as you reach your ship. They like to keep themselves above what they think of as petty squabbles between the houses. If they think that you are here representing the Haran house, they won't even see you. I must admit that that having me alongside you won't much help with that. Unfortunately, he muses sardonically, unless you are a warrior or have been introduced by a warrior, they would probably ignore you anyway. To them, their lot is to fight and die with absolute honor. In many ways, they are the essence of being an Auroran warrior, but dealing with them can be tricky. Okay, so we need to head up to Nether Secundus. I'm sorry, was that mission telling us to go to Auroran space? That was kind of weird. And fly past all of this, hop into the hypergate. There we go. So, Moash is going to be angry with us. Oh no, not again! I just want to get back in the hypergate. Just want to get in the hypergate. Oh no. No! Well then. You know, Moash just hates you no matter what you do. Pretty sure even if you get the Auroran storyline, they hate you. Can't believe they're making me go the long way around. I don't even know if this is the right way. I hope it is. Almost there. Seriously. What? Okay. Are you done? See, there's a hypergate right here. We could have been here in no time whatsoever. Eamon steps out first, and he greets the awaiting warriors in a friendly manner. They quickly realize that you are under his protection. They put their weapons away and ignore you. Eamon leads you up a long staircase. After climbing 20 floors, it opens onto the top floor of the arcology. Seated in leather seats surrounding a large circular table are about 20 elderly warriors with many faded tattoos. Eamon Flanagan walks to a space in their table, formally introduces you, and informs them that you wish to speak with them. The oldest warrior at the table inclines his head and indicates that you should begin. You explain the events of the recent months and explain why the Bureau is planning to do what the Bureau is planning to do in concord with the Moash house. Many of these hard old men narrow their eyes when you tell them of their actions of their rival house. So you want us to allow Federation scum into our space to protect them from this Bureau, asks one of the elders after you finish. Why should we do this? You explain that if they do not, then the Haran house will in all likelihood be destroyed. If they do decide to go along with the plan, then they will have extra ships to bolster their defenses in the coming battles. The eldest warrior turns to Eamon, asking, "Don't you have a blood oath against Raksak?" To which Eamon nods. "Then how can you fight beside him?" "By imagining his reaction when he realizes that I've been the one who rescued him a second time," he replies, receiving approving chuckles from around the table. The eldest warrior nods slowly and turns back to you. "We will do this thing you ask," he decides with finality, "for I cannot stand to let any house bring about the ruin of everything we have fought and died for. Orihara, I believe that many songs will be sung about the coming days, and I will make sure that you are mentioned." He then dismisses you with a wave of his hand. Eamon quickly moves to your side. "I want to see a few people," he says quietly. "Meet me in the bar in an hour." I cannot tell you how many times I've played these missions and somebody says something like that where "meet me in the bar in an hour," and I just listen to what they told me to do in the first place, so I leave and go to the Deck Talker world and just completely forget to check in on them. And then I have to fly all the way back. "You did well in there," says Eamon when he arrives just over an hour later. "You were concise and to the point. You also didn't try to gloss over the difficulties. You have gained their respect and their thanks for your message. That little speech he made about making sure your name is in any songs isn't an idle statement. It is probably the highest compliment one warrior will pay to another." You raise your eyebrows in surprise. "So what is your real name anyway?" he asks with a sardonic grin. Okay, they were doing so well up until this point. You know my real name. You realize that you will have to let me tell someone, otherwise only your code name will be immortalized in song. You have to laugh at his attempt in humor. Oh, never mind. Never mind. You know the man alongside you is one of the few people in the galaxy who is aware of your real name. "The more time I spend with you," Eamon chuckles, "the more I like you. I've never met anyone who can say so much by saying so little. I wish I had the gift of I wish I had your gift with words sometimes." You snort derisively as you set about preparing your ship for takeoff. He laughs. "I can see why Frandal used you on me," he comments, laughing. "You and he come from a similar mold, but then it's not surprising you take after him. After all, he is your supervisor. You manage to stop the surprise you feel from reaching your face. Frandl, your supervisor? The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. I mean, it was pretty obvious. Nobody has ever seen Frandl, nobody knows his name, and yet Jeff/Frandl seems to have the ability to set his own missions for his own operatives. He can also disappear at any time to take care of things, and has the pulling power to get General Smart to pass on messages for him. You vowed to have a few words with your supervisor when you report back in. I mean, I guessed it. I say that, but I've played this before, so I suppose it's not quite the same. We're going to be in a big battle pretty soon. And unfortunately, my hit-and-run tactics aren't going to be quite as useful there as they could be. You let Eamon off first, again, to deal with the waiting warriors. With no small show of disappointment, they sheathe their weapons and let you pass. Once again, Eamon leads you up a staircase to the upper level of the arcology, to a room where 10 elderly warriors sit in council. He walks over and introduces you formally, indicating that you wish to speak with them. The ancient warrior at the head of the table tells you kindly that you may begin. You begin telling of the events that led up to you standing before them, leaving out the names of all the Auroran houses involved so as not to prejudice them in any way. You explain what you believe is going to happen, you ask them to keep their eyes open to watch for any cowardly actions undertaken by any house. Why do you wish to involve us in this matter? Asks one of the warriors. How will that help you in your cause to fight this bureau? You reply saying that rebels are worried that the Auroran counterattacks, however justified they may be, will further muddy an already messy situation. You also explain that just because an Auroran house is involved, a civil war might result, and you do not want the Bureau to give the Bureau any chance to expand their influence further. Your leaders also want to cause as much damage to the Bureau as possible. So all that you want for us is to be present in, on, or around Haran space for the next few weeks? Asks the ancient warrior, heading the table, and you nod in confirmation. He closes his eyes in thought for a moment before reaching a decision. We will do what you ask, he announces quietly. You are not dragging us into a squabble between houses as I initially feared. We thank you for your information. With it, we may stop our enemies from destroying the Empire. We are in your debt. He dismisses you with a wave of his hand. Eamon gives you the thumbs up as you leave and informs you that he will meet you in the bar in an hour. You see Eamon enter within 30 seconds of the hour he specified. You wave to attract his attention and he comes over. I had to go see some of my battle brothers, he explains, men who I hold closer to my heart than any family in this universe. I could not have passed up the opportunity to drop in, as I do not get to meet them very often. You nod understandingly, saying that you would have done the same. Well, it seems as though everything is ready, he says with a smile. The Bureau will fall into our trap, eh? You smile thinly, saying that you hope so. Why so glum, he asks cheerfully. You have done all you can. Nothing more can be expected of you. Why do you look so down? You reply that the events that are coming are too enormous to predict outcomes for. You add that you do not like what you see if anything goes wrong. You underestimate the abilities of the people you are working with, he says quietly. Now that we are forewarned and forearmed, the Federation and the Bureau will be hard-pressed to salvage a bloody draw out of the coming battles. Wait and see. You down your drink in one long swallow before standing up, indicating that you are ready to go. Yes, rumbles Eamon with a small smile. It is time to head home to ready ourselves for war. I need to return to New Ireland, and you need to return to whatever rebel base to report in. I would imagine. The two of you make your way back to your beloved Duke of Earl 2, where he helps you go through your pre-flight routine. How am I almost up to 5 million credits? I haven't even done anything, really. We're getting there. Wait a minute. This is the hypergate. Right. Stop. Okay, so now we need to go up to Tuatha and not die. Just saying, very few people can get you around the universe quite as fast as I do. It has been good fighting alongside you, Warrior Hara, says Eamon as he leaves. For in your chosen field of war, you are a true master. The ancient Gauls called people like you warrior poets, for they understood to master the arts of war required a man to master his soul. I would be honored to call you my battle brother. Having traveled extensively throughout Auroran space and learned a little about its warrior culture, you realize that this offer is not given or received lightly. By offering to become your battle brother, he has indicated that he holds your life to be of much greater value than his own. You are touched and bow deeply, replying that the honor would be entirely yours. The two of you grip forearms and you make a small incision on the back of your hands, letting the blood mingle. Good luck, my brother, Eamon says by way of farewell. If any songs are sung about these days, I will make sure that your name is mentioned before that of all others. Things do seem to be coming to a head, don't they? So, we're gonna go by Rimshot just one more time. I know, it's ridiculous. But I want those Wraithy. That's the only way we're gonna be of any use in this coming battle. Nope. Okay. That's frustrating. I'm betting we're just missing the, yeah, I'm betting we're just missing, oops. I'm betting we're just missing the, combat rating. Oops. And back to Korea. We have not been here for quite some time. No, stop. Okay. You are greeted by your supervisor, Jeff, as he walks you... Start that over. You are greeted by your supervisor, Jeff, as you walk down the ramp. I'm guessing Eamon let slip who I am, he says without preamble. You reply that Mr. Flanagan is of the opinion that you are Frandl. Well, he's right, chuckles Frandl, and it's good to see that you're still keeping your cards close to your chest, even with me. Especially with you reply with a sardonic smile. Frandl laughs. So, you got everything in place? He asks, and you nod in confirmation. Excellent. Meet me in the bar in 2 hours. We have another mission that I believe can only be completed by you. Frandl enters the bar with General Smart, and they both make their way over to your table. We have just received the news that Raxax Roughnecks left Space Dock 5 yesterday morning, says General Smart quietly. Things are now officially out of our control, but we can try to channel them a little from here. General Smart is going to lead the entire rebel fleet in an attack on various Federation military targets in the hope that it will draw away ships from the Auroran campaign, giving the Haran House a better chance of surviving, explains Frandl in an equally hushed tone. That's a really long sentence. Unfortunately, our entire military doesn't amount to much against the might of the Federation Navy, and if they are allowed to react effectively, we will be crushed, he continues grimly. Needless to say, this is not the desired outcome. We need someone, General Smart says gravely, to decapitate the Bureau in order to cause a little chaos and confusion. Are you interested? Excellent, exclaims General Smart. We believe that without leadership, the Bureau will take as much as a week to start reorganizing, and the Federation Navy will be effectively broken up into a large number of smaller units that we will be able to deal with. The head of the Bureau currently goes by the name of Crane, Frandl informs you, and she is usually seen in the uniform of a Federation Navy commander. She is in mid-30s, 5'5", slim with blonde hair and blue eyes. General Smart turns to stare at Frandl. I wasn't aware we knew that much about the leader of the Bureau. She was my best pupil, reminisces Frandl, but she always did prefer to club things to death when a more surgical solution would suffice. Finesse was never her strong point. Anyway, he continues, snapping out of his reverie, she has been seen recently in the Wolf 359 system, traveling in a ship called the Prodigal Son. Go there, disable her ship, capture her, and return here. Oh, is that all? Yeah, this might be difficult. My goodness. What? I don't even know what just happened there. Seriously, what just happened there? Like, all of a sudden we were almost dead. Oh well. I can't complain. It hasn't been happening as often this playthrough, so... I mean, I can still complain, but I don't want to complain as much. Well, almost there. And we have 5 million credits. How did that happen? Prodigal Son. Okay, so I want to attack this guy, but it's going to cause the gunboats to get very angry at me. I think. I also don't want to hit the wild geese. Okay, so the gunboats aren't angry at me. I'm okay with that. Just don't want to destroy it. Oh, I don't want to destroy it. Don't want to destroy it. Okay, the gunboats are apparently completely nonplussed by my attempts to capture Crane. What do you mean? There we go. Ooh. That was tricky. So, I guess that's all we needed to do. I don't know why the gunboats aren't angry at us, but I'll take it. Oh. Oh no. Okay. Just enough. You do know, Mr. Oirihara, the stunningly attractive Commander Crane informs you, that you are going to be killed when my people find you. If you return me now, I will reward you by making you one of my lieutenants where you have an enormous amount of power and influence. What do you say? You snort quietly to yourself at her attempts to buy you off. You ignore her continuing attempts as you pilot your ship into the docking bay. After completing your post-flight routine, you pick her up and march her out to the waiting reception. You are greeted by all the rebel leaders except Frandl, who is nowhere to be seen. The beautiful Crane looks at them imperiously and asks them what it feels like to be on the losing side, especially now that the Miro knows the location of this base. General Smart says, You may find that not all of your information regarding this station is completely correct. Take her away. As she is led away, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and you turn to see a man who is vaguely familiar, indicating that you should follow him. He takes you into one of the many intel offices and turns to you. If you're wondering why you don't recognize me, he says with a familiar voice of Frandl, it's because I've had surgery to alter my appearance. I don't want to be recognized in public by that young lady, and revealed. You did very well on this last mission, he continues cheerfully, but unfortunately we will need a couple other weapons against her. You see, we want to put her in a Velos trial, but the Velos are still an enslaved race. He holds up a hand to stall your questions. Yes, I know the propaganda says that they now serve the Federation willingly, he explains cynically. I created it, but it isn't true. I have an idea, though, he continues thoughtfully. Keep an eye out here. Once I've hammered out all the details, I'll be waiting for you. You were sitting down and enjoying your drink and you are somewhat surprised to see a bearded Mr. Donald Chick enter the bar. An immediate hush falls amongst the crowd, and then as they realize one of their leaders has just entered the room, which changes to surprise when he comes directly over to your table. Greetings, Oirihara, he grins quietly, sitting himself down opposite you. We have recently been granted access to some technology, and I've been trying to create a simple assembly process to mass produce these items, and I was wondering if you'd be prepared to be a test bunny for me. Test bunny? Ooh. I rather thought I could count on you, he says, thanks you warmly, but let's get down to business. The Polaris have been studying the capabilities of the Wraith, he explains quietly, and not long ago, they figured out how to duplicate their cloaking capabilities. Now, despite the events that unfolded during their previous attempts to loan us some of their technology, they still seem to like us. Wait. What events? They allowed us to access their physical data on the subject and some engineering information on how to use our current level of technology to recreate the effect in question. To cut a long story short, he summarizes, rolling his eyes, after a few months of sitting down and just trying to figure out what they were talking about, we set about trying to create a process to mass-produce cloaking devices for our own ships. We built the first one, and we wanted it to be tested by a competent pilot who has the capability to get himself out of trouble if something goes wrong. So I want you to head down to Kolan and the Sandown system, and then return here. If you can avoid he concludes with a smile. If you can avoid being scanned by the feds, so much the better. But if not, I suspect we'll manage. I mean, okay. Isn't there an Auroran War going on right around now? So, we weren't given a cloaking device, right? Like, we're watching somebody with a cloaking device, I would assume. Kolan and the Sounddown system, I mean... That's what it says. But we don't have a cloaking device. Oh, wait, unless we do. Do we have a cloaking device? Oh, we do have a cloaking device. Neat. Never mind. I mean, we didn't really need one. I'm just saying. Having a star bridge that can jump between systems quickly is more than adequate. But, also it drops our shields, which isn't great. To be clear, I'm pretty sure the Polaris version doesn't do that. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Polaris version even allows you to fire while you're cloaked, which this does not. Well done, exclaims Mr. Chick when you exit your ship. I take it there were no troubles? You smile and nod, quickly detailing the events of your trip to Kolan. Yes, all of the details, where I didn't realize that they'd given me a cloaking device until I got there. Excellent, he drawls happily. Now we can get to work on mass-producing the darn things so that we can get them out to the fleet as soon as possible. I've organized for a payment of 25,000 credits to go into your account. My disappointment is immeasurable. He concludes as he shakes your hand, and you can keep the cloaking device. May it prove useful to you in the future. With that, he turns away and hurries off, presumably to give the order to start mass production. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Fine, we'll go to the bar. Ah, there's no one in the bar. Fine. Fine. We'll go to Glytech. The Polaris cloak is better. But hey, we got a free cloaking device, so now our star bridge is even more overloaded, so I'm not going to complain. I just want those Wraithy before we get into those giant battles. I don't know when that's going to happen, though. I don't know why we jumped here. We could have just used the Hypergate system. It would have taken less time. Nothing in the bar. Nothing in the outfitters. How long? Ah! Okay, so I might look it up after we're done here, just to see what happens. Oh, right, we can just go to Corella. What? What? I'm sorry, a Pegasus was challenging us? Are they insane? I mean, it is a little ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, that's much faster. Mission BBS, nothing, bar. Hey, there you are, exclaims Frandl after the two of you spot each other in the fairly crowded establishment. I was beginning to wonder when you were going to turn up. I left because you weren't here. While you were away, I've come up with a method to have a Velos trial where the Velos are actually capable of handing down the right decision, he explains. You see, because the Velos are enslaved and can be literally ordered to do anything, they are very useful to the Bureau in the field of justice because the Velos who is allegedly meant to be reading the truth of statements of the accused can actually be ordered to answer a specific way. The Bureau has used this trick for years to bias the courts. Now, since Crane's underlings are demanding her return, saying that if she has done anything wrong, she should stand trial, I wanted to figure out a way of ensuring the impartiality of the Velos judge so that she can indeed stand trial. At the end of the day, if she is going to be found guilty, then the Bureau will be basically defeated. Are you interested in hearing my solution? It's simple, really, he explains slowly. The Velos are telepaths. It appears that there is a way for another telepath to take the strain, leaving the Velos free from the burden of their enslavement. Now, I just happen to know that the Polaris have a number of telepaths among them, he continues with a savage glint in his eye. None are anywhere near as powerful as any Velos, but a smaller group of them should be able to do the job. That's where you come in. I've already contacted the Polaris in the matter, and they have agreed to help in the matter as they feel they have an enormous debt to the Velos for protecting them from a colonial council invasion some 7 centuries ago. Once you come back from Muar Haro and the Muar Hari system with those Polaris telepaths, he says with a sudden cold resolution, we can take the young Crane to trial and the Bureau will be no more. You realize that this cold, hard man before you is the real Frandl, whom you are seeing for the first time. Muar, oh boy, that's really far out there. Where's the nearest? Oh, we have a escort. Wait, we have an escort? Why do we have an escort? I mean, whatever. Oh, stop. Oh, this is as far as we can go? Seriously? Well, that's boring. Oh, well. There just isn't a good route through here, is there? I think we want to go there. I have to go the long way. Those hypergates are really good. It cuts down on so much time. Ah, man, I wish we could get more Polaris tech. It's too bad, really. Should we stop in Kelari? I'm thinking we should. Just because I don't know how many jumps it's going to take us to find Muar Haro. Okay, I think this is the right way. Excellent. Almost there. It's interesting that there's no hypergates in the Polaris space. I wonder if it's because they destroyed them, or if they are inhabiting a part of the galaxy that no one else does. You are surprised to see a smiling Miranda when you open your hatch. Hello again, Oirihara, she says, happy to see you. You have become something of legend among our people since we last met. You have really lived up to your code name as much as I thought you might. And before you ask, yes, I'm a telepath. I'm sorry I didn't tell you last time, but I thought it might be detrimental to our working relationship. You wave your hand to tell her that it does not matter. She smiles and goes on to introduce you to her fellow telepaths, who you notice are all garbed in gray, much like she is garbed in black. One of them notices you looking and tells you that the different castes wear different clothes. The Muhari, the caste to which Muranda belongs, wear all black. The rest of the group belong to the Nil Camoria and are all warriors. Muranda explains that the ruling council suggested that warrior telepaths might be more capable of dealing with difficult situations should they arise. So, now we just need to make our way back to Kania, and then we can use the hypergate there to return. Why do we have an escort? I don't understand. Do we need an escort? Whatever. $5 million credits, just by basically doing nothing. Although I suppose we did take a couple 500,000 credit missions and 200,000 credit missions, and yeah, okay, fine. And a bunch of 75,000 credit missions. Our journey is drawing to its end, though. This is, as I mentioned long ago, what I consider to be the canon ending of, Oh, I hope we... Oh, no. We have to fight this guy, don't we? I don't suppose I could get you to come with me. Oh, I can. Excellent. Excellent. Because we don't really want to deal with that guy right now. I mean, we could, but I don't want to. Yep. One jump too short, apparently. Are there just more planets in Polaris space? Oh my goodness, just leave us alone. Okay. We should be fine. Excellent. Ha! You are greeted by a smiling Frandle when you land. Muranda is surprised to find out that the man she knew as your supervisor is the mysterious Frandle. I didn't even realize you had assumed a false identity, she exclaims in confusion. How did you do that? I have no real identity, answers Frandle with a wry smile. I make any identity I take on my real one. It also allows me to operate around the Velos without being discovered, which is useful. For even if they didn't point me out, because they realized I was a rebel, their reaction to my presence, if they were aware that I was using a false identity, could be enough to give me away. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he bows courteously, if you would please come this way to meet the other leaders of the rebellion, we can brief you on the exact details of the situation, and we can begin the operation. Oirihara, if you could meet me in the bar in 2 hours, he states without looking at you, I will explain the next phase to you. Jeff walks in... Wait, Jeff? Okay. Oh, right. Jeff walks in and you hail him from your seat at the rear of the bar. He comes over with a grin, which he loses as you address him as Frandle. I survived by being unknown, he murmurs intently. I would appreciate it if you kept the information you have quiet. Loose lips sink ships. You nod, feeling a little hard done by, but understanding the idea. Despite this, you cannot help but feel that he is hiding something important from you. Something that is probably quite important. I need someone to take Crane to Seoul so she can stand trial, he announces quietly. It should be fairly easy, but I need that person to be someone I trust implicitly. Are you available? I knew I could count on you, he continues gratefully. You are going to be escorting the ship Courageous to Earth. On board will be Dr. Pentecost. He wants to be there when Crane is humiliated. So does General Smart, but he is currently busy off on his crusades harassing the Federation forces. But he assures me that he will meet you on Sol. Don't mention to Crane that we have a card up our sleeves, he tells you more seriously. We don't want her to suspect anything. It could be something of a public relations disaster, he says with a wry grin, to lose Dr. Pentecost. So if you could make sure that the Courageous isn't destroyed en route, that would probably be for the best. Good luck, Orihara. Well, let's take the... So what is the Courageous? The Courageous is a carrier class. Okay, so that should be fine. They should be fine. So that'll get us to Nether Primus. And then we can just take the one hop to Sol right here. And then there's probably going to be... No, apparently there's no one here. Unless those guys are about to fight us. No, doesn't. Yeah, doesn't. Oh, a bunch of rebels. Okay. You keep Commander Crane on board until the trial, despite the protestations of the Federation media. The trial itself is an enormous affair, being publicized live Federation-wide. Commander Crane stands before a traditionally long-haired Velos judge and a bailiff who will read out the list of crimes she is accused of. The bailiff begins reading out the charges, which range from breaching freedom of speech to imprisonment without trial, from unlawful execution to provoking war with other nations and entering into coalitions with pirate organizations. The final two charges are of treason and of usurping the executive power away from the democratically elected representative government. After spending some minutes reading out the charges, the bailiff looks up from his datapad and asks Commander Crane formally, "How do you plead?" She answers with a resounding, "Not guilty." The Velos judge stands up and looks at her directly in the face. "She lies!" The crowd erupts. Crane looks momentarily confused. "She is guilty of every crime she is accused of," says the Velos judge, somehow audible over the noises of the crowd. "Are you surprised?" asks the Velos judge, lifting his traditional long hair to reveal an enslavement device attached to his skull. "We are no longer your slaves. After 6 centuries, we are now a free people, and in my freedom, I condemn you to the worst punishment the Federation Constitution allows for, lifetime incarceration in solitary confinement. This court is adjourned, and our debt is now paid. We can finally join our brethren beyond the veil." The Velos judge looks up at you and says one word with a nod, Orihara, and slowly fades from sight. You can somehow sense that he has somehow moved to a higher plane. As you lose track of him, you sense his joy. In the following hubbub, General Smart finds you and yells across the crowd that he wants to see you in the bar as soon as the two of you can get there. "If we act now," says General Smart when you two finally get to the bar, "we can end this war. We have the Bureau running for cover, going into damage control mode. I'm going to lead an attack on Bureau HQ in New England before returning here and sending my men out to hunt the remnants of their forces. The news I'm getting from the Auroran space is that the Huron House has accused the Moash House of trying to destroy the Empire. And with Talker witnesses, it looks like the charges might stick, which would mean the Moash House would be stripped of its position, lands, and even their name. The way things are going, it looks like Huron is going to become the first house, and they seem to be at least a reasonable bunch. All in all, things are looking up. I need someone to go and pick up the other rebel leaders," he tells you quietly. "I want to make an announcement in the press calling for general elections within the Federation, and many of them will want to stand for office. Can you do it?" "Thank you," he says gratefully. "I don't know how we would have survived without you." "The remainder of the leaders are located on Rebel 1 in the Evli system," he informs you. "By the time you have left, I will have sent them a coded signal warning them to be ready to be returned with you to Earth to lend their weight to the announcement. It shouldn't be too hard unless the Bureau tries to interfere. While you're out there, keep an eye out for Bureau forces," he continues. "If you see any, make sure you pass the information on to the next Rebel ship you see. I believe most of them have been named, unless they have recently changed their paint jobs. Good luck, Orihara," General Smart says, standing, "and once again, thank you." Oh my. Oh my. Pardon me. Don't mind me. Oh, what? I thought we could get there from here. Man, fine. Have to take the long way around. Yeah, as soon as you get access to something that takes 0 time, it's hard to do anything else, you know? As soon as you open your hatch, the remaining rebel leaders start coming aboard. You notice Frandl is missing and you ask them about his absence. He's disappeared, replies Mr. Donald Chick with a shrug. We've learned from long experience that when he does this, he'll make contact in his own time, and there's nothing we can do to speed up that process. You roll your eyes and shake your head before giving your guests a quick tour of your ship, showing them their quarters for the trip. They are all seasoned travelers, and before long, you are back at the controls of your beloved Duke of Earl 2, prepping her for the long return journey. Well, it's not that long. Actually, since this is the first time we've been here, we should probably have, Rebel 1. This planet is the headquarters of the rebellion. The people here are all very friendly, but a little reserved and very busy. They are without fail willing to sit and chat about their beliefs concerning the role of the Bureau of Internal Investigation within the Federation. They have lists as long as your arm of crimes committed by the Bureau, and they have statements of witnesses and huge files of evidence to support their accusations. However, they quickly clean up when they are asked about specifics about their operation against the agents of the Bureau, which is understandable considering the intelligence gathering capabilities of their enemy. None of these people seem to be young, energetic, and far too serious. Most of these people seem to be young, energetic, and far too serious for their age. They have all obviously seen something that matured them long before they were ready. Oh, they do have Rebel IR jammers. That's tempting. Okay, so 1 ton and 2 tons. And this is 4 tons and 2 tons. That's unfortunate. We have a Rebel cloaking device, though. Yeah, see? Visible on radar, drops shield. That isn't always what happens, you know. Storm chain guns are pretty cool. Those are pretty great, actually. Unfortunately, you need chain gun ammo, which it's cheap, but why? I don't like spending money on stuff, you know? Nothing else here seems particularly interesting to me. I mean, yeah, this is good, but it's not that good. Actually, let's see. So, carbon fiber is 1 ton for 40, and this is 3 tons for 150. That's actually pretty good. So 40, 80, 120, and then this is 150 for the same amount. Oh, but speed -2. That's the problem. I see. Oh, you know what? It's just, this has just reminded me that the one reason you do want to join the Aurorans is because they have cool ships. Oh, well. That's a bunch of ships. That's a lot of ships. Rebel destroyer. Yeah, no Rebel carriers, though, so off we go, I suppose. Probably be bad if we crashed or something right now. You know, having the entire Rebel leadership on our ship. Seriously? The pirates are going to attack us? I'm just saying. It's a little ridiculous. Oh my goodness, just no. Okay, fine. Be that way. Why are they all around Nether Primus? I don't understand. Whatever. Actually, that's an excellent point that, Okay. Almost before you land, it seems like your ship is surrounded by the media in a frenzy after hearing the news that the remainder of the rebel leaders have returned to Federation space. One by one, they step out, waving for the cameras before being whisked away by rebel soldiers who have drawn bodyguard duty. As soon as they are gone, things calm down and you get to relax a little and start taking care of your somewhat battered ship. A few days later, as you are fiddling away on a power coupling that isn't working to its maximum efficiency, you hear the proclamation by the rebel leaders announcing the defeat of the Bureau and most of its forces. General Smart goes on to inform the citizens of the Federation about the recent machinations of the Bureau in attempting to provoke a war with the Aurorans. Finally, Dr. Pentecost asks the Federation president to step down and call for a general election. Within a day, the president bows to public pressure and steps down, but not before calling for Federation-wide general elections. To your surprise, you realize that the rebellion has won the war. They have destroyed the Bureau, and as a result, the Federation will return to what it once was before the Bureau twisted it into something unwholesome. You figure that you are out of a job, and as you will doubt they will need too many people with your abilities in the new regime. You shrug your shoulders, thinking that you can handle becoming another freighter captain for a while. You decide that you will not mind leaving the excitement to other younger pilots. Your thoughts are interrupted when your comm beeps, indicating an incoming pre-recorded message. It turns out to be Muranda, who asks to meet you in the bar. You walk into the bar and see Muranda and the other telepaths sitting near the door. "Waywirhara, how are you?" she asks with her dazzling smile. "I'm so glad you got my message. Please, join us." You begin to making casual conversation as the Polaris loosen up around you. You begin to discuss many things, from the philosophies of the different Polaris castes to the bits and pieces you know about the Federation election protocols. You remember that you have heard nothing from Frandl, and you ask them if they have seen him. I don't really want to talk about him, Miranda wrinkles her nose in disgust. Have you heard that Commander Crane was found disemboweled in her cell? Nobody knows who did it or how it was done, but I have my suspicions. Did you know he was the one who started the rebellion? Anyway, the reason I asked you here, she changes the subject quickly, is because all the excitement in the last few weeks, we seem to have been forgotten and we need a lift home. Can you help us? You answer in the affirmative, but you are not put off so easily. You ask what she meant by Frandl starting the rebellion. He is no better than that Crane woman, Miranda answers, slightly cross at having to answer, which is not surprising since she learned her craft from him. He saw that when she was put in charge of the Bureau that he would be slowly pushed... He saw that when she was put in charge of the Bureau, that he would be slowly pushed out of his job in Federation Intel. So in an effort to regain his influence, he began subtly making sure that several influential people began to get access to information detailing atrocities committed by the Bureau. The end result is that he has now destroyed his rival and has once again become the head of Federation Intel. You can be assured that we will be watching carefully while he remains in office. Enough talking about that man, Miranda exclaims more cheerfully. You have proved yourself worthy of your name once again, Orihara, and we would be honored if you could take us home. So yeah, this is nice. It's our last journey, appropriately ending in Polaris space. I think it ends here. And so we head out. Unfortunately, having to take the long way around. Wonder if we could convince the Polaris to get a hypergate or two. Just in their main system would be good. What? Oh, Wraith. Why are the Wraith angry at us? Interesting. That's no good. That's very bad, actually. If they actually started attacking us, that would be very bad. Well, I hope this... Yeah, okay, good. We can land here. The end of a story is always sad. And so it ends. Dr. Oriolo Pentecost was elected the new president of the Federation, and his first proclamation was to free every single Velos from the bonds of slavery, whereupon they all left Federation space to journey into the galactic northwest to pay their respects to what they had been before passing beyond the physical universe. The Federation, under the guidance of Dr. Pentecost, with the help of his fellow former rebel leaders, entered a new golden age. On his deathbed, some 23 years later, Dr. Pentecost signed the documents welcoming both the Aurorans and the Polaris into the Federation. After letting the pen slip from his fingers, he sighed and looked around at the men who had been his dearest friends and fellow conspirators during his life. He said one word, Orihara, and died. Later, when pressed, the people who were present at the signing only smiled cryptically and left the question unanswered. Rumors abounded, but the only information found was that during the troubles that preceded the unification of humanity, there had been a man who had gone by the name Orihara, who had immediately dropped out of sight. Not even the Polaris, who were rumored to be the last to have seen him, knew where he might have gone. Over the next 10,000 years, humanity had developed and suffered the occasional nearly cataclysmic setback. Every time the name Orihara was mentioned by those who had led humanity back from the brink, and still none seemed to understand. Eventually, humanity slowly began to evolve and began to move beyond these physical limited dimensions, and they finally began to see. The last human, before evolving into the beyond, looked around at the physical universe laid out in all its glory and said one last word in a satisfied voice. Orihara. Until we meet again, may the rain fall gently on your fields, and may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Scott Vardy. What is this? What has happened to my game? That's funny. Stephen Chick. I still don't understand that. Matt Birch. I think I took a wrong turn at Palashif. Yeah, so this is a ship from the second game, and Palashif is a place in the second game. It's funny. It's funny, okay? Well. Wait, David Williams. What? Who was that? Where was he? We should probably land, shouldn't we? Yep. Well, that is the end. Metal and opals, apparently. And Kestrel for 20 million credits. I thought it was 40. Okay. Ah, it's too bad it's not that good of a ship. Jason Cook. Oh yeah, Jason Cook, Frandl. Luke Smart, Scott Verde, Paul Pentecost. Yeah, you'll notice that these names sound a little familiar. I babysit, it pays better. And don't tell me that was irrelevant, it was a hippopotamus. Yeah, I think that's everyone. It is too bad you don't ever see, Captain Hector if you register the game. Who is David Williams? Where is he coming from? He must be cloaked or something. Well, we are going to go back to Seoul for one last thing before we call this done. And I suppose we give up the name Morihara and become Lepsis Magna once again. What? Oh, pirates. Why are there pirates in the Seoul system? Nothing ever changes. Earth, via the Kane Band, named after its designer Omata Kane, is still the center for all activity in the core worlds. Most recently, it saw the destruction of the Bureau and the reintegration of members of the Rebellion back into Federation society. It is here that Dr. Oriala Pentecost, the new president of the Federation, has his offices from which he makes his famous bi-monthly Federation addresses. This world has seen a lot in the 12 centuries since Omata Kane designed the ring, but so far, it has stood the test of time. Well, folks, I think that's where we'll leave it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.